Metroid bosses. We got Kraid, Phantoon, Dragon, and Ridley. And then you got to beat Mother Brain to finish it all off. Got to beat both games. And the winner is the team, both players. Once they finish, then that is the time that they record. So the second player's time on that team is really the time recorded. But it looks like we're off to the races. So what are some of the interesting opening options here, Wild?
So there's two that you're going to see here potentially. You've got, immediately going into A Link to the Past, which looks like both Cross and Jet and Zoast and Keku are all doing right now. So every single player going into A Link to the Past right off the bat. What you could have seen players do is head on down into Super Metroid. There are 2 items down there that you can see and get. One of which would not be quite in logic yet for this difficulty, but there's the morph location and then there's an item in a ceiling. So most players are not usually going to go down that way, just because it's only 2 items. It takes a little bit to get down there and to get back up. So whereas A Link to the Past has somewhere, I think around like 20 to 30 different item locations you can check with, no equipment. So it's a much more lucrative place to check. And already you see people, checking the tree pulls here. So we've got multiple different tiers of drops that you can get from trees. The pull that you're seeing everybody do right now is tier 3. And wow, the crab is actually dropping 8 bombs as well. Wow. Okay, so these drops right now that they're getting are really, really great. Getting bombs early are super, super good. And why is that, Alu?
There are numerous places around Kakariko and the world in general that you can use to blow up to have access to items. And in addition to that, it can be used as a weapon against a lot of enemies. So the Front of Escape comes to mind, Mini Moldorm Cave, where you have to beat the enemies to access the items. Those are really important things. Now, we have already seen some pretty interesting items collected. We saw the powder in Link's house, and we saw an E-Tank in the Sanctuary, a Super Missile Pack over at Uncle, and some silver arrows at the Secret Passage chest. So a lot of interesting stuff so far. Nothing that's really can be used as a weapon. I guess you can powder enemies if you want to make them a little bit easier to kill, but for the most part, they're going to be using those bombs.
Ooh, and we just saw the Moon Pearl at the race game there from Cross Product as well. Oh, wow, and it looks like maybe tier 1 is red rupees as well off that tree there from Jet. So that's also really good because money is definitely a hot commodity early on as well. There's the bottle vendor in Kakariko that gives you an item for 100 rupees. Additionally, King Zora is a location that potentially can get opened up pretty early. Either gloves or mitts will allow you to get to him logically, which is a 500 rupee requirement for 1 item. So, having that really easy rupee farm there is looking pretty good for these players. And so right now we're seeing them top down and a bottom up play from both of these teams here in Kakariko. A very highly dense area with a bunch of items. We're finding a bottle, a sword in Blind's house, which is great. That bottle allows for checking Sick Kid as well in Kakariko.
And we also got a flute as well in Blind's house, so that's really exciting for mobility. Going to be able to activate that right here in Kakariko and fly around the map, maybe down to the South Shore or over to Ice Rod Cave, maybe up the mountain to Death Mountain, or even into the desert. Can be really nice for some fast travel. So we'll probably be seeing all these players activate that shortly.
Yeah, and the mountain is an especially interesting play in combo because it does have a portal to Super Metroid, but we just found in the well the hook shot from Jet. So now we're definitely going to be seeing one of these players head up to the mountain because that hook shot is going to open up an additional 8 items on Death Mountain. We are seeing a map there as well.
We also saw the bow in the chicken house, so we are just getting items left and right now here in Kakariko. It's more like Stackariko.
Yeah.
Village. Am I right?
You're right, absolutely. That bow is really great because it allows for an early Eastern clear. But I believe it was a pendant from the quick. It was not the green pendant either. So it is a pretty good check. There's 3 items behind Sahasrarla's hut, and then there's an additional 3 inside Eastern. So with that bow, that allows them to clear it. We're probably going to see these players go and do that without the lamp, as there is a dark room in Eastern.
Yeah, what should be stated is the game that we're playing here is, you know, Super Metroid and Link to the Past combined randomizer normal mode. And so in normal, no minor glitches are required in order to complete the game. So that in order to beat Eastern Palace, you know, you may need the lamp in order to get through those dark rooms, but, you know, you're welcome to use minor glitches if you want, but they aren't required. And we'll more than likely see a lot of these players do some sequence breaks as we go through, and we can try to identify them as we see them.
Yeah, and I mean, you said, you know, need lamp, need in quotation marks. With doing dark rooms is probably one of the biggest things that you're going to see people do to break logic in these later matches, in these combo randomizers, where these players have done so many randomizers, they know these rooms like the back of their hand, and they're able to just navigate through any dark room in the game, you know, with very, very easily, enough so that the lamp becomes very often a non-required item for a lot of these players to complete the game.
It looks like Cross Product will be heading over to the Eastern Sahasrahla area, as you mentioned, and going to be loading up on some items, probably completing the dungeon. Eastern Palace, I believe, is a pendant. So, and I thought it was the green one at that, but maybe it's just a normal pendant. And so that is what he's going to be doing right now. But it's not a bad idea to jump into pendant dungeons, even though we need the crystals to do it. Because early on, these guys are going to be looking for ways into the Dark World and ways to get to Super Metroid to make progress there.
Now, interestingly, he's just walked right on by Sahasrahla, unless he did Sahasrahla already and I somehow missed it. He went right by it.
Yeah, I guess I said, I think it's the green pendant, so he's probably going to complete this and then go and, you know, grab the item at Sahasrahla once he clears the dungeon, and then do the back of Sahasrahla. And they have bow and silver arrows, which is insane for this dungeon already.
It's going to make this a breeze.
Yeah, just going to have to tough out those dark rooms. The second dark room is a little bit trickier than the first, but, I mean, these guys know what they're doing.
Absolutely. Now we're seeing another check that I don't think we've seen yet. Jet is going into Mini Moldarm Cave. Now, this is a very good check early on. It can be kind of tricky to do it with just bombs, but Jet has gotten a second sword upgrade here, making these Mini Moldarms very easy to kill. There are 5 items in this area, so we'll go ahead and see what he grabs here. The mirror, that's a really nice grab.
That'll help us progress up the Death Mountain, which is really good.
Yeah, which surprisingly, that's got to be where he's going. Like, now he can do, with Hookshot and Mirror, he can now get up in Clear Hera, and he can also go to Eastern Death Mountain and get the additional 8 chests over there that unlocks.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to make a stop off at Ice Rod Cave. Now, I mean, one thing we haven't discussed, I mean, this is a 2v2 tournament, so we've got the left side team versus the right side team, you know, Cross Product and Jet versus zoasty and kekumanshoyu. So these guys are going to want to cover as much ground as possible and split up as much as they can to try to find the items that they need to complete both games. I mean, the key is to cover as much ground as you can and do it as best as possible. Looks like we found a sweet item in the Eastern Palace big chest there with Spazer.
Yeah, Spazer. And I mean, it's not the worst thing to find, really. You know, a lot of people, there's a lot of trash talk that goes on about Spazer, but it's actually, you know, relatively nice, especially in Randomizer. You know, if you're not going to find Plasma, you know, it does add quite a bit of damage to your beam. But we've got Keku in the Mini Moldarm Cave. He's going to grab his mirror there. You see Jet and Cross now both doing different dark rooms. Jet right now is actually doing the dark room on Death Mountain to get the Old Man. And that's going to unlock a save and quit location for him, as well as get him an item as well. And Cross now has just finished the Eastern Dark Rooms, where he had to enter 2 rooms and navigate and get a key under a pot there. A nice damage boost there to skip killing all those enemies in that room from Cross Product as well.
And so he's loading up on some health here to prepare for this next dark room. Gets a fairy anyways.
Yes, and this dark room, as you mentioned earlier, is much more difficult than the ones he was just doing, if you want to elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah, so there is an Igor in this room, one of those kind of statue dudes, and when they wake up, they're vulnerable, and you need to kill one of them in this room in order to collect a key to advance. And so he's going to have to try to find this Igor. He's probably going to shoot an arrow to hit it while it's asleep to try to get its position. And then he will shoot it again once it wakes up. Okay, he's doing some spin strats too, but I think he's found it, and he's going for it now. We got Jet over in Paradox Cave, very item-rich, item-dense area of the game, so we'll see if the items keep coming. I see a super missile pack there. That could be important later on. Oh, no.
So he got the key, but there must have been another Igor or a Popo or something at the top of that room. Cross is going to commit to this. This could really pay off for him. It's going to be two. I wasn't actually able to count the items in Easter. I don't know if there's still one left at Armos, but it is going to be that green pendant, I believe, for him to turn in at Sahas. That is a pretty costly death there early on. Was there anything in a Paradox Cave there from Jet's side? I
saw Wave Beam, and some super missiles, but I didn't really see much else going on there.
Well, the super missiles definitely play a huge role in combo for sure. Ammo in general for Super Metroid. I think that was Ice Beam up on the floating ledge.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Definitely want to remember that you see things there. Like if you don't have mitts, which you need to collect items like that, you want to make sure that you remember that they're there so you can come back and collect them later.
Yes, it's a very important thing to do. Cross going through this room again here. I'm wondering. Oh no, yeah, he's not going to go into the. There's a rupee room in there as well on the opposite side of the room that he just went in with the key door with 90 rupees in there. Sometimes it's a good room to go into if you're trying to like farm for Zora, or if you haven't done Bottle Salesman yet, or what have you. But we are seeing Keku go through the Hyrule Escape or the castle sequence here, which I don't think we've seen yet. So far, it looks like nothing. They did pick up Bombos. He did pick up Bombos somewhere. I did miss that. Shout outs to our trackers, making sure they're catching everything that I miss all the time. So that's awesome.
Yeah, we got Link Force and Sir Link a lot, helping us out a lot here. So definitely give him some love if you see him in chat. But yeah, front of escape Bombos, pretty nice. We can also see use of the hook shot to stun some of these enemies. You saw crossproduct doing it earlier. We saw Keku doing it there because we have the stun prize of a bomb. So that's pretty nice.
There's just bombs everywhere. Just dropping bombs everywhere.
Yeah.
Man, so Cross has completely just annihilated Armos with his silver arrows, just one shot each. It was the green pendant. You were right there. I must have missaw that when we peeked at the map earlier, which does make a lot of sense. Now he's going to combine Sahasrara with that green pendant check, which, as we did mention before, is illogical because he does not have the lamp to actually do that. But it's a blue rupee, so there you have it.
Yeah, and Zo's already checked the back here, so not too exciting back here behind Sahasrara. Get a little bit of ammo, but we're going to be keeping eyes out in the desert for Keku checking Agonist Cave, and Jet checking Tower of Hera, which does have the screw attack. So what does the screw attack do for us?
There's some implications there with screw attack for Super Metroid. It does unlock a couple items. Now, there's the Old Mother Brain item. There's that first item in Gauntlet. If they've got, actually that's not logical with what they have right now, so forget that. There's also, you can get the Terminator item, and then 2 other items in Pink Prince Star, so it's unlocking about 4 items for them right now in Super Metroid. Now, it's quite a long trek to get all the way to those 4 items, and it's not very many, so it takes a long time, and it's not very dense. So what you're probably going to see is putting that check off for as long as they can, unless they decide to make it a little bit. I would say it might be a little bit of a gamble without Morph Ball, because Morph
as we see Keku jumping right into Super Metroid right now to check the 2 items, but he doesn't have screw attack.
Right, he doesn't have screw attack, but yeah, like we mentioned in the beginning, there are still 2 items that he can check. Logically get one of them, but that doesn't stop these players from breaking logic. Logic is meant to be broken. That's my motto. We do see a death there from Zoast. But anyway, as I was saying, morph is definitely a really something you want to wait to have before you go into SM because it makes your checks a lot more efficient. But sometimes it might be required to go in without morph to find your progression in A Link to the Past and then go back and forth. So we'll see what was there. Missiles at the morph location, and we're gonna see what's in the ceiling ice location here. We might see a fancy deboost there from Keku, which we do see there, which is power bombs. So not immediately helpful.
Not immediately helpful, but a nice-to-have item, because once they do find the Morph Ball, then those will be available immediately to start checking items in Super Metroid.
Which is huge for efficiency.
It's really amazing for efficiency. Jet was having a little bit of trouble with Trolldorm here, but looks like he's kind of got it going. He's got one more hit on Moldorm, and then he's got him down. And it looks like crossproduct setting up the Death Warp there to go back to the beginning of the escape. We might see him trudge through some dark rooms now.
Now, what's interesting about what he's doing right now? He doesn't have a key. So what does that mean he's doing here?
I guess he's taking a little bit of a gamble and seeing what's in the sewers chest. So there's one chest available in this area. It's a little bit tricky to navigate through these rooms, but they do have a sword to get the little sparkles to guide them. They have a hook shot that they can use to kill some of these enemies in one shot if they want, or silver arrows, that works too, to kind of guide them through this area, because there's some scary snakes and rats in here. Now, the sewer chest could have an item that progresses them, or it could have the small key itself that allows them to get to the back 3 chests of this area, which could also be accessible by gloves if any of these players happen to find some gloves.
Right. Yeah, so if that key is there, yeah, it's gloves or lamp that would be blocking the progression to the rest of these items in the back. Exactly. And we're seeing on the other hand here, Zoast just finishing up his Paradox Cave checks. He's going through Spiral Cave now, which we know is not a whole lot of worth there. Keku is following him. Looks like he's going to end up taking his mirror and going into Tower of Hera, as we saw Jet do earlier. And it looks like Jet now, he's going to be making those screw attack checks, which at this point, just having our omniscience here, knowing what's all has been checked, it's a pretty safe play to do right now, as they are running out of things to do in A Link to the Past.
Yeah, it looks like crossproduct's going to do some cleanup. Both Zoasty and Keku are going to be going up the mountain, and we will probably see some progression here in Super Metroid. It could be the lamp, which would lead them into Aghanim's tower. And with the Moon Pearl, they could actually do some Dark World exploration on the east side of the Dark World. It could be a glove, which would get them into the back of Escape and put Zora into the logic. Could be a number of things. Could give them a book, go over into desert. We'll keep our eyes out.
Well, what we did see, though, from the Norfair check with the one item that's available to them right now, we saw Shovel at High Jump from Zoast there. So that is a fetch quest item. He's going to need to go check that immediately, but with Flute, that's very, very quick. And so that could be their progression, hidden in the form of the Spade. So we will see what is there. Jet, meanwhile, sees Speed Booster underneath those crumble blocks, and that's a really good sign right there. Very, very easy to get that. As soon as Morph is acquired, that is in logic for them to grab. It's a very convenient location for that as well. He's going to cross those crumble blocks.
Yeah, that is really nice. Got to be a bit careful here when you're screw attacking some of these blocks, because if you mess up, you might get soft locked a bit. But there's the lamp in the grove there. Wow. So
they've really done everything that the lamp already, or at least we've seen from all players, pretty much everything that the lamp allows them to do, except for what?
Well, Aghanim, but we just also saw a glove from Jet there in Pink Brinstar, so he now has a power glove. He can check Zora and the back of the Escape logically, so this is really interesting. There are some options available. And even, Aghanim might still be required. You can take that glove in your hook shot and actually, hook yourself all the way around the world. You can check Catfish. You can hook over to the North Dark World. and head towards Village of Outcasts, Thieves Town, Skullwoods, and loop all the way back around to Hype Cave. So there are actually a lot of available things here, but we still haven't seen Lamp for Team Stoop's product on the left, and we haven't seen Glove from Team Snappy's Hawaiian Hosts on the right. So we'll see who pulls the trigger on that Aghanim first, or if that will be required at all. Because maybe we'll see Back of Escape have Hammer or another glove upgrade, and that could really open things up as well.
Yeah, I'm really, really interested to see what's going to happen there. So, Cross Product has walked by that Norfair entrance multiple times now, and that's where that shovel is. So they still are not going to get that shovel, whereas Keku's gone in, grabbed his shovel. Zoast is now in Hera where he knows Screw Attack is. He's grabbed Screw Attack. I believe he should have, because Keku has gotten it in there. And I'm interested to see, is Keku now going to go check the checks that Jet has made and grab his glove? I know there's still 2 more checks that can be done with Screw Attack that Jet has not done yet. You know, logically, just one. The Old Mother Brain location was not checked. But it looks like Jet's going to go ahead and follow the seed here and take those gloves to Back of Escape, looks like.
Yep. And if they do elect to farm up the money for Zora, that's also in logic. With the Moon Pearl, I wouldn't be surprised to see these players do some fake flippers and head towards the Waterfall Fairy Cave and Hobo, because you can check those with fake flippers, which is a minor glitch that you can perform over in the South Shore area. So that could be a way to maybe get around doing Aghanim's Tower, because no one wants to do Aghanim's Tower. Everybody's going to try to fight that.
Exactly. But why is Moon Pearl relevant for that?
So in order to actually collect the Waterfall Fairy items, you actually do need the Moon Pearl. You need to have the Moon Pearl in your inventory, and that allows you to perform the Walk on Water glitch and collect those items in the first place.
Right. And you usually wait, players usually wait to do that, as you were saying, until they've got Moon Pearl, so they're able to do that all in one go, as well as have the money to do Zora. And it's also faster when you have the Walk on Water glitch as well, because when you walk on deep water, which you would normally, jump in and splash out of without flippers, you actually walk at normal walking speed, whereas if you were walking in the shallow water, your speed is slowed down, as if you were walking in grass or something else. So it's a little bit faster in that regard as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And we're seeing a tile room Hera basement check here from Zoast. I'm not sure if we saw this before. But now with the lamp, this is possible to check this. Yeah, it would make sense that we haven't gotten it before because they didn't have a fire source. Yeah, so there must have been an item here that they're going to check now with the lamp, and that's something that I forgot that the lamp was going to unlock for them.
Yeah, super interesting. Yeah, this has the progression. This could be huge for Team Snappy's Hawaiian Hosts because, Jet and Cross haven't even grabbed that shovel yet, I don't think.
No, they have not. They've not been into that Norfair portal. Yeah, and this is a huge check because that's an E-tank. So that would have been a huge lead for Zoast and Keku there. Because that's just like a really out-of-the-way, lengthy check that no one really wants to have to do, especially if you're going back into Hera for a second time.
Looks like Jet is a bit disappointed with his findings down in Blue Brinstar and Old Mother Brain. So as far as we're concerned, based on our omniscience, it's really just Zora or Aghanim.
I mean, yeah, that's all that's left logically. We might see Keku check the first item in Gauntlet, which is illogical. Oh, never mind. He's just gonna run right on by, refill the ship.
Well, maybe he'll save first here just to be safe.
Just to be safe. It is a little bit of a dangerous area. There's acid in there, which without any suits does a tremendous amount of damage to you. If you get caught in it, you could die very, very quickly.
Yeah,
so
you
like
can
he is
definitely
gonna.
see like the resistance from these players to want to do the Aghanim play, because if you do the Aghanim play, you have to commit yourself to a few minutes of traversal where you're not really getting any new items. And if you could have got there another way, then it just feels really bad. You've wasted a lot of time when the other team could have gotten there for free. So
Exactly.
you can definitely see that these guys don't want to do this. They're going to try to do everything they can before they make this play, but it's starting to look like that's going to be one of our only options here.
Well, and especially knowing, what you already pointed out, that there's actually quite a bit to do in the Dark World. Normally when you're presented with this situation, you've really only got like the pyramid and like maybe a entrance to pod, in this situation. But like they actually have gloves and hookshot too, which, like you said, allows them to get all the way over to the West Dark World by hookshotting across the river up by where the Light World Witch's house would be.
Right, and now Snappy's Hawaiian Host just got their gloves, so that means that they're probably going to be thinking about what to do with that. I'm sure they're thinking about Back of Escape and Zora now, but you got to start puzzling it out. This is a puzzle kind of game where you got to decide, hey, I have these items. Where can I go with what I have? What's the best option for me and my teammate to try to pull ahead? And these guys are in voice talking it out this whole time. Jet finding the lamp there for Team Stoop's product. That is probably going to lead them over to Aghanim now.
I mean, either that or he's going to think that, it looks like he is going to do that immediately, not going back up to Hera. Honestly, I think, it's a tough decision to make this play, but like instead of going back into Hera, but like it's definitely, a better option. There are more items available to you, even though it is a lengthy investment, time-wise, at least, to do Aghanim now.
Yeah, it really is, but he's just going for it. He knows that there's a lot of available items in Link to the Past, and I know Jet's specialty really is Link to the Past. I think that's where he enjoys kind of staying, and typically what we've seen from them in this tournament is cross-product tries to take more of the Super Metroid locations, and Jet goes for Link to the Past. But okay. That's not necessarily something you have to do.
I do want to point out something that could be a turning point here, potentially in this race here. So Keku has saved. He is going to sequence break for this speed booster item. He's going to quick drop through these chroma blocks and jump back out. And he's done it first try. So he's now got speed booster. Now that actually unlocks a couple more locations for him. He could go back in and have checked the reserve location there where speed was, but he's elected to go grab his glove first, I guess, and then go back. But that's an additional 2 locations that he can get. Now, if there's something there like Hammer, for example, that would completely bypass the need to do Aghanim, and that would be a huge time gain for Team Snappy's Hawaiian Host.
Absolutely. And in addition to that, there are some locations that you can hell run, basically take passive damage in Norfair that these guys have access to with Speed Booster as well. Now, their health isn't amazing, but it's enough to really get by and get to Bubble Mountain and check some things there. So that could also be a big play.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
so but again, sequence break without Varia.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. That would be a sequence break without Varia. Getting Speed Booster the way that Keku did is a sequence break without Morph. I'm really interested to see if this pays off for them. He's not checking. Wow. Okay. So he's forgetting the vanilla way to collect these items with Speed Booster that's actually logically required, which is actually for those items back there in this difficulty mode. So if Morph could be back behind, actually no, it can't, because Morph is required. Yeah. So there could be something else though really important that they're missing back behind at Green Brinstar Reserve that he's not going to get because with Speed Booster that actually unlocks those items logically in this difficulty mode.
That's an unfortunate miss. But, when you're in the moment and you're thinking, hey, it's Aghanim, because I mean that's where Zoasty's going. Maybe they want to stay in logic. Maybe they just want to focus on what what's important right now, which is there's going to be some sort of progression in the Dark World because that's where the game wants you to go. So maybe it's worth just focusing on that because otherwise you'll start getting behind. Right.
And what's really interesting about that though is I suppose it just must have slipped his mind, because if it were me in this circumstance and I know that my partner is going through Aghanim and I had options for other possible avenues to explore through this sequence break, I would want to pursue those. But again, like you said, it could just be in the moment. It might just be just a slip of the mind kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. If you have a plan and you want to stick to it, I can definitely understand and sympathize with that. And he just found the speed booster. It's hard to think about, hey, I guess I can do something with it immediately here. Sometimes it just slips your mind, so don't blame him for that. And we do know that this is, unless Zora's got something, this is the logical way to go.
Right, so we're seeing our first steps in the Dark World here from Jet, finding a super pack on the pyramid there. As Zos is making his way, he's almost at Aghanim there. He's got a couple more rooms to go. We'll see where Jet decides to take himself here. It looks like he's going down to Pod.
Yeah, Palace of Darkness, one of the big options here. It looks like it's a pendant along with Skull Woods, and we have our 5 and 6 crystals over in Turtle Rock and Ice Palace. Those 5 and 6 crystals are important because if you do collect both of those crystals, then you can go to the Pyramid Fairy, which has 2 additional items. If you collect all 3 pendants, which we know Crossproduct has actually claimed the green pendant so far, then you can actually pull the pedestal, which everybody's excited about, and collect the 1 item that is there. So I like this play from Jet going over to Palace of Darkness. We do have the bow, which locks out a good amount of this dungeon. And so, having that bow puts it in logically. We have the lamp, and it's called Palace of Darkness. There's a bunch of dark rooms in there. So you can navigate through those. We just can't defeat the boss at the moment because we don't have the hammer. Need the hammer to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. And we did see a pretty painful death 2 rooms from Aghanim from Zoast here, so he's got to reclimb that tower again. So
honestly, that's like one of the most brutal things about this co-op combo randomizer. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so finding boots here. Oh, okay, and so no, just in time, we're seeing Cross's stream back up, and he's checking the items at the back of the Green Brinstar Reserve here. It is not anything good. But with Speed Booster, that also logically puts into place the first item in Gauntlet, but we already saw that from Keku, and we know that wasn't worth it. But yeah, so finding boots in Pod from Jet is very, very good. That's going to make their traversal just through a Link to the Past so much faster.
Yeah, that's amazing, and it also opens up some interesting locations like Bonk Rocks and King's Tomb, because they do have the mirror. You don't necessarily need mitts in order to access the King's Tomb. You just need to be able to have the mirror and access that location in North Dark World. So that's actually something interesting that they have available. I don't think the library was worthwhile, but later on when we get to Desert Palace, that could come into play as well, the torch there, or even in Ganon's Tower. So definitely some interesting options that the boots opens up in addition to just the straight up movement. But what I was saying earlier is, early on, and especially just in this co-op format, these players are going to have low health, low energy, low ammo. They're going to have to do some tough things. You can see, since they've found so many progression items, they don't have a lot of hearts. You see 4 hearts on Zoasty's screen, and then 3 on Keku's and Jet's, and I'm sure Cross's is about the same. You got to do some dangerous things like Aghanim's Tower, Palace of Darkness, other Dark World traversal with low health. So I got to clutch this out. Sometimes you take a bad fall, but it looks like Zoasty's gotten back up, and he's almost at Aghanim here.
Yeah, that's a pretty common thing for combo co-op. When you're going through and you've got somebody else splitting checks with you, that just it means inherently you're checking fewer items that you can't see, which generally are going to be like a bunch like heart pieces or energy tanks, missile packs, all those kind of things that you normally are just like kind of like didn't really need this, but it's great that I got it. But since you're splitting checks with another player, you're just not getting them at all. So that later down the line, that can make things difficult for you. If you don't have charge beam, you've got less ammo. You might have less health. If you're getting fewer heart containers, heart pieces, even, or the energy tanks. So like you said, it just makes you have to do things with less safety, as you could say.
Now, we have a very interesting dynamic here where crossproduct hasn't even done Aghanim's Tower just yet, and he is checking the gauntlet here, trying to wiggle his way out of this mess up in the gauntlet area to prevent himself from soft locking there. But looks like zoasty and Keku do have an opportunity to split up the Dark World if they want. It looks like we've got Keku going towards Catfish. zoasty going to be hooking across here, as I mentioned earlier, to kind of circle around the North Dark World. The unfortunate part, well, Keku's death is an unfortunate part, but the unfortunate part is they're missing out on those boots and pod.
And that's not the only thing they're missing. In the bottom chest, in the Dark Maze, is Varia suit.
Wow.
Now
that is a nice find.
It is an extremely nice find. Now, it doesn't actually help them in SM at all logically right now, but with Speed Booster, that does actually open up quite a bit more items, locations in Norfair for them to check. But that Varia is a very, very nice find. And so what I liked about what Cross was doing is he was fully exploiting all of his potential Speed Booster checks, which is something that I was mentioning earlier, to no avail, unfortunately. But he was go ahead and checking all of those things that his sequence broken speed got him. And now it looks like he's probably gonna go. He's going. Oh, I'll bet you he's heading into, now that he knows that his partner's got Varia, that he's going to do some hell runs here in Norfair, which he can access, as you mentioned earlier, with Speed Booster, much more easily than he could before.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, again, all of this is out of logic because of that crumble, but he may also be grabbing the shovel here.
Yes, we didn't know he hadn't gotten that yet. So he might continue and do some hell runs here, which would be very interesting to see.
That would be quite fascinating.
One thing I do want to real quickly mention here, you briefly touched on it when Cross was checking a gauntlet. He got stuck in a crouched position, which happens in that area very commonly without morph. And if there's nothing on your right, you can actually wiggle out of that. And normally you would be soft locked because you cannot morph and get out of it. But if you're holding an angle button and then turn and release the angle button as you're turning, you actually shift 2 pixels in the direction that you turn, but don't actually complete your turn. So it just wiggles you a couple pixels each time, and you can actually escape there. So we're seeing more checks here from Jet King's Tomb. We saw a map there from Zoast, kind of showing us what we've seen already. And Keku
did also see an interesting check from Keku over at Catfish. After Catfish, he went over to Zora area and peeked at the Zora ledge and found Quake Medallion sitting on top. So we do need flippers in order to access that location, or a very cleverly executed water walk glitch using the boots can also gain you that item.
Right, which Snappy's Hawaiian Host does not have. They have not gone into pod yet, which is it makes sense. Their play is valid. It's a very valid choice not going in there. Finding Hammer, immediately happy that they did not go into pod yet, I'm sure, because getting Hammer at that chess game is going to allow them to go through it in one shot. Whereas Jet and Cross Product have not found that yet. Jet may very well likely find that Hammer before Cross even ends up getting the pod, so Cross might be able to do pod all in one go. But that's really nice for Snappy's Hawaiian Host, although they're missing out on those boots, which really speeds up a Link to the Past. They do not need to double dip pod.
Yeah, that is going to be fantastic. The question is, how quickly will they make it over there to actually, jump into pod and use those items? I mean, they have everything that they need to complete the dungeon, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them go there pretty quickly. So we're in about the same situation that you guys are in, folks. So bear with us. We're trying to get everything sorted out. So what kind of plays would you make at this point, Wild? I mean, like let's. I mean, we know about the hammer. Maybe they've got some other items at this point. But based on what we know right now, you know, what would be the good moves for each of these teams?
I don't know what my plays are. You're my brain, my routing brain. No, but in seriousness here, so just looking at like what Dark World dungeons are crystals and which are pendants. I mean, obviously, Pod is just a great play to make. But I definitely think that, you know, going into Thieves right now is a really great idea. It's full clearable. You know, they're going to have their hammer to get that last potential check in the big chest. And it looks like, actually, I didn't even notice that Zoast picked up mitts along the way somewhere that I missed. So that's actually really great. He can then pretty much do the entire, all of the checks on the south route, south of Dark Kakariko. He can basically do all of that. So that seems like a pretty good play, and then end up at Pod. So he would basically, you know, go into Thieves. If it were me, I would go into Thieves, you know, clear Thieves, do all of the Dark Kakariko stuff, do the Smith's Chain, take the check Cave 45, Stumpy, get to Hype Cave, and then go up into Pod with that hammer and that bow and his lamp to be able to fully clear that logically. So that's what I would do. Looks like we got our stream back here.
Yeah, thanks for bearing with us. Looks like crossproduct has continued his traversal through Super Metroid without doing any of the actual logical progression, and gonna be pretty disappointed because we know where Mitts and the hammer are. So this Crocomire check likely not going to pay off. I mean, it could still have some other progression, which could be nice, that they'll have a little bit of heads up on, but unfortunately, he's not going to get bailed out. He's going to have to do Aghanim as well.
Crossproduct trying to do a little tricky short charge here to get up to... That's not going to be high enough. Yeah, he's you can't make that jump without high jump. Oh, okay, well, I don't know if he's saved recently, but got stuck in that acid. As I mentioned earlier, that acid takes a lot of health very quickly. So that's a bummer there that he died. I mean, hopefully there was nothing good there. He did lose all that time, though, checking Croc. But if there's nothing there, then I guess it's fine. But he's missing out on that one check at Grapple.
Well, Jet just found the hammer, so he's probably relaying to Cross. You got to get here through Aghanim anyway, so you should just get over here. So we'll likely see that. Ooh, Jet taking an unfortunate death on the overworld there, right in front of Thieves Town.
All these guys, 3, 4 hearts. Zoast actually at 5 hearts. It's just like the Dark World enemies do like 2 hearts of damage at the minimum. So it's like you're taking 1, 2 hits and you're just dead. Like this is what it's brutal. Like you've really got to be, you know, on top of it. And even if you are, sometimes you can just get some bad movement patterns and you just get hit by something. You know, or there's just happens to be a Poe in your way when you grab the Thieves Town entrance and you roll back into it, and there's nothing you can do to stop it, which just really feels bad. But
yeah,
luckily,
we got Zoasty fighting blind here with his 5 hearts, getting a little off script there. It is a bit of a scripted fight, but he managed to clutch it out with 2 hearts remaining, and he's going to take home, I guess, his second crystal of the game. Seems good.
Absolutely, yeah. We've got Jet close behind him. Starting in his Thieves there, and we've seen that Keku and Zoast actually splitting up the stuff there. Zoast doing that dungeon check while Keku has been doing the south route, Smith's Chain checks there. I didn't see a whole lot of what was there. It looks like Zoast is going to do the digging game. And I see on the trackers that Keku has actually gotten Morph, so I wonder if Morph is at the digging game here.
It must be. You see Zo's Furious Diggling. There is Plasma, which is an
Plasma.
Very nice. The red cane in our hype cave. Wow, this is a hype cave.
This is, I'd say, a solid like 7.5 out of 10, probably. Pretty good.
Seems good to me.
Yeah.
All right, Keku gonna deliver that purple chest. Follow through on the quest here. And man, they have a lot of things available. Morph at Old Stumpy there, so that opens up a lot of Super Metroid. Basically, everything but Meridia is available right now, and maybe Shack Tool, I think, is the other option. Actually, Shack Tool's available if they want a sequence break with Ice Beam, which we did see on the floating island. They do have the option to go up to Dark Death Mountain and collect a bunch of the items there. They can float over to the Misery Mire area. They can check out Lower Norfair. They can go maybe do Misery Mire. They might have the medallion. We've seen a couple medallions collected by these players. There's a lot of options on the table right now. So it's tough to decide. You see Keku kind of bouncing around the flute locations.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what's so great about this, what Keku did to sequence break for that speed booster, is it really opens up a lot of SM for him. Whereas, unfortunately, Zos is going to need to go back and get that. However, you know, there's still a lot of items in Brinstar to be checking with that morph, where he's going to have to go anyway to get that speed booster. So what we might see, since Keku has it already, is there's huge potential for some really efficient checks here for Zos and Keku. If Zos goes into the front of SM like he's doing right now, and Keku ends up going through into the Norfair side. Oh wait, they haven't gotten their Varia yet. Oh, okay. So that's actually not as great as it could be from them there. Oh, there's huge potential there, though. There's potential.
Yeah, we may end up seeing some hell runs from Keku, but it looks like Keku is going to be going up East Death Mountain, Dark Death Mountain, and we can check Super Bunny Cave, Hookshot Cave. We can check out what the requirement is for Turtle Rock, which is pretty important. I mean, you got to have the required medallion in order to get in. You won't get very far without the Fire Rod, but it's possible that Fire Rod can be in Turtle Rock as well. And you also need the Ice Rod to complete it. They do have a lot available. This is really fascinating.
Yeah, all this very Aga seed where it's just so like pigeonholed into that one thing they needed to do. All of a sudden, broken wide open. So many different avenues of possibility here for them to check out.
Which is actually kind of scary when you have all these items at your disposal and you're starting to look for like the last few items on your list. I think we still need a handful more, but like this is a scary thing because if you look in the wrong place, your opponents might find it, and then you're kind of out of luck. So you just want to be routing as efficiently as you can, and I think that's a bit of the strength there for Team Stoop's product is that Jet jumped into Aghanim's tower very early compared to the other team and was able to scout out that Palace of Darkness and find Variasuit and find the boots to kind of make things go a lot quicker.
Yeah, and so Keku now in Dark Death Mountain, which is an additional 6 locations plus 1 that the floating island there, which has Ice Beam, which is going to be really great to pick up before going back into Super Metroid as well. So he's going to check those. He's also going to be able to check the Turtle Rock requirement, medallion requirement, which is really important knowledge to have as well. To know, you know, those medallions are really tricky things because both Meyer and TR, which are both crystals in this seed, both require a medallion to enter them. They could be different medallions. They could be the same medallions. You don't know. And so when those, you know, towards the end of the game, if you don't know what those requirements are or you don't already have all the medallions, it can be a little bit stressful trying to decide, you know, do I need to keep checking items for these medallions? Or if I have 1 or 2, do I just gamble on the fact that that the requirement is one of the medallions I have already? So getting that information for TR really early is going to be great for Keku.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt to find a few hearts in here too. These guys are still running really low. There's one.
Hey, there it is. Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous that, 50 minutes in, they're still on 4 and 5 hearts. Absolutely nuts. There's that mushroom there at Hammer Pegs. And Keku, if it's Bombos, could actually pop into TR. Like you said, it's not. It is Quake. But he could have gone for some kind of dream play there. Maybe Fire Rod could have been in there or something.
That could have been amazing to see, but it looks like gonna pass on that. Probably peek out at this floating island real quick and realize, oh hey, I want that. That's ice.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, we got Zoast kind of combing through Super Metroid here in Brinstar, not really finding too much value as of yet. Although we did see a sword in the back of the gauntlet.
Yeah, and that's definitely something they'll want to grab later on, probably in conjunction with a wreck ship or post wreck ship play on their way back to Link to the Past, possibly. Unless that also maybe the plan is do complete Super Metroid first, and on their way to Mother Brain grab that extra sword and then go back into Link to the Past to finish it up. There's a couple different ways that you could route that in. Now, keep an eye on Zost's power bomb count. Without Super Metroid bombs and only a maximum of, I believe, 5 power bombs, that makes these checks really, really difficult. And there is a lot of farming that you're going to need to do on enemies that do not have a high chance to drop power bombs. So what he's doing right now is actually really smart. Is going into this area. It's one of the better places to farm power bombs. Is off these red bugs here. That have a low chance, but you've got 2 of them right next to each other, which is really fast. There's some additional caterpillars down below the charge beam location that do have like a guaranteed drop. Wow, charge beam. Okay, that's really good.
All right, so we know now where ice, wave, plasma, and charge are. What does that mean for these players? And Spacer, you're right.
We've found every beam. But that
that grappling beam. Hold on.
Oh, that's all right. Got me. So unfortunately, actually, Zoast has to leave these locations unchecked. But underneath charge and actually waterway, two locations that he could get to. So mismanaging of his power bomb, unless he's just making a calculated risk there and just knew that he wasn't going to be able to do that and didn't want to sit and farm the power bombs on the red bugs. I personally do not think that that's a good idea, but it could pay off. There could just be nothing there. And wow, Cross actually getting a really nice hammer jump. Very close to falling off the bridge. Anyway, sorry, I got sidetracked. To backtrack to your question, having all those beams, though, is really, really great for these players because they know that they do not need to be collecting a bunch of ammunition to complete the game, because they have the best beam combo in the game, essentially. And it's just going to be doing tons and tons of damage to the bosses in Super Metroid. So it's just one less thing that they have to worry about, like at the end, oh, do I have enough ammo to kill Mother Brain? Because you need a lot of ammo to kill Mother Brain without charge beam.
All right, so we have Cross finished up pod there, so he is going to be using those boots to head right on over to the west side of the Dark World. He's probably going to grab his mitts, which I believe are in Graveyard Ledge, and then the hammer over at the chess game. Probably going to wrap around and grab the morph, and it'll be interesting to see where he decides to go from there. Right now, he's kind of just doing cleanup, while Jet is focusing on kind of providing the progress for their team, since Cross did a bunch of checks already in Super Metroid with that speed booster sequence break.
Right. Yeah, and it feels good, in Cross's position. It's kind of like a mixed bag there of feelings. You're behind. Because you did all those checks and ultimately did not really pay at all for him or his team, but you're checking the rest of the things that Jet was unable to do on his first time through or wasn't efficient on that, so getting those, and he knows exactly where to go though as well. So he's just goes right to Graveyard Ledge and then immediately goes into CAC because he doesn't need to walk all the rest of the way there because he can get a really fast portal back into the Dark World because of that. So he can go really, really quickly, do exactly what he needs to, and then leave. Zoast, however, we didn't mention it yet, picking up Super Metroid bombs in Beta Power Bombs location, which is really great with only having a max of 5 Power Bombs right now. Definitely makes traversing and making sure you're getting through your checks a lot more easily. And not having to worry and stress about your Power Bombs. We did see a Meyer pendant, or I'm sorry, medallion check there from Jet. I did not see it. Did you happen to catch what that was?
It was Ether, and there's a sword and a bug net in the Meyer shed. Pretty nice find there from Jet, and does have everything required to actually enter and complete Misery Mire. Now, sitting on 4 hearts, it's not the greatest place to be. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised to see Jet jump in there. You know, these guys are used to this low health count, and they'll probably tackle it.
But I think that's why, though, we see him doing desert first, because he also has the ability to full clear desert. And I think he might be hoping that he's going to find something in here that's going to make his Mire clear a little bit easier, whether it's more health, like another safety item, like maybe Blue Cane or Cape, or something like that. But with silvers and at his disposal, that makes the Vitreous fight very, very trivial. It's just he needs to be very cautious of the damage that he's taking.
Zoasty already putting those Super Metroid bombs to work, trying to save on those power bombs. Still stuck at around 5. You got to be really, really careful with your count, but you know, now that you have Super Metroid bombs, it becomes a lot easier. And we're going to see a Fantoon fight from Zoasty coming up here. We might even see some cool Doppler strategies or even an X Factor. He does have wave and charge, but yeah, wasting power bombs at this stage probably not the best idea.
Absolutely, yes. Now, Wreck Ship, though, actually has a lot of enemies that do have high chance to drop power bombs early on in this area, so it's not the worst thing. But seeing this Fantoon fight from Zoast is going to be a treat for sure.
All right, so we got crossproduct jumping right into Super Metroid after finishing his loop of catch-up. And probably just going to be working on a lot of Super Metroid stuff. And Keku now also in Super Metroid, so it looks like we're kind of shifting focus a bit.
Really nice 2-round there, mid-fast from Zoast. Got nice RNG as well as executed his fight very, very well.
Looks like crossproduct's going straight into Wreck Ship as well, so gonna be kind of skipping out on Brinstar for now. An interesting strategy because there aren't any bosses there, so like, you know, when you're only a few items from Go mode, if you can find all the items along the way while you're beating the bosses, then, I mean, who needs to do certain areas of the game? But they are going to miss out on charge if they do that. That's a bit of a tricky situation.
And I think that's actually really going to hurt them. They don't know that, but, you know, it's just like having to worry. The earlier that you can find charge is it just compounds. The time that you save just compounds on itself, because the earlier you find charge, the less time you're worried about the ammo that you need to be getting. And the amount, the longer time passes that you don't have charge, obviously it becomes more and more of a concern, the amount of ammo that you need. And so you're spending time going back to check more items, go get things that your partner has, go found other like super packs that your partner has found. And, you know, just speaking from experience, it becomes much more difficult to play and remember the things that you need to be doing for progression wise, as well as remembering additional locations for ammo that you normally just don't hold in your mind. And that's normally something that you just, you know, push out of your mind as soon as you find it, but you're having to remember a lot of additional locations. One thing I want to mention here that Zoast was trying to do is a fancy little bomb jump to get up there. He doesn't need to be doing that because he has speed booster. He just needs to charge a spark starting from the previous room. He's not laying this bomb properly. He did bomb jump a little bit more in a difficult way than he needed to, but it worked.
That was pretty swag. Yeah.
It was absolutely. He does need to be very careful though. These spike platforms will deal 200 damage to him, so he is in trouble if he gets hit by those. But he's he's done this quite a few times. I have faith that he's gonna make it through here just fine. Unfortunately, Jet running into a dead rock, taking a death, is what I meant to be saying there. As Cross is now fighting Fantoon.
Ooh, and there's the magic cape there for zoasty. A nice safety item, but decides to reset it after saving in the wreck ship main room. So doesn't really want that safety. I don't know though, but that's something that I may consider keeping with this low heart count. But maybe things will open up later. And he has been picking up a number of hearts as he's been going through Brinstar and wreck ship. So maybe he's thinking, I'm fine. No big deal. Let's save the time because I'm playing against two amazing players. I gotta step up my game. Maybe skip some items that I don't need.
Absolutely. And well, what's the other reason that they would want to get cape?
Well, Bumper Cave Ledge is the other available thing. I mean, Aghanim's Tower also can be opened up by that, but we've already done that. So, and we know Bumper Cave Ledge does not have any value. I think. They've checked it, or I assume they have, so that's why he isn't picking it up. So I think that's the reason to kind of leave it there and not worry about it.
Well, there is one other potential reason to grab that, and that would be to be checking the Spike Cave location in Link to the Past.
True.
Excuse me. Which is a long room full of spikes that are constantly doing damage to you. And with the cape, you actually get invulnerability, which would allow you to get through there much more easily. But that's one single check. It takes a lot of your resources, a lot of your magic, a lot of your health, and quite a bit of your time too. So it's definitely possible to do without the cape. It's just that makes it a lot easier. You can do it a lot more early and safely with the cape.
Do you want to point out that Keku is going to clean up the locations that zoasty did miss over in Pink Brinstar? Also picked up the charge beam there, so kind of looped all that in together. So that's another great aspect of co-op, being able to cover for your teammate when they didn't have enough power bombs or whatever. So he's going to be able to spark through this area, this waterway area, and actually collect what's here.
We're going to see what's there is a full heart container. So Zos did not miss out on anything there. So that risk, that calculated risk that he took did pay off for him. So he did end up saving a little bit of time there. But like you said, though, in co-op, it's great that you can cover for your partner and get those checks that your partner may have, either forgotten about or was unable to do so for whatever reason on their first time through that in a specific area. And then you can confirm, for certain that that you don't need to go back in that area, which is a really great thing. It'll give you peace of mind.
Yeah, it's super nice. Looks like Jet is going into he's going into escape to get Bombos, which he can use to actually traverse into Ice Palace. So we might be seeing an Ice Palace play from Jet here shortly, which would mean, if Fire Rod is in Ice Palace or somehow locked behind that Bombos, that means we need all of our medallions in order to complete this seed, which is super interesting.
That's not a very common occurrence, but a very cool one.
Now, Jet is also doing the fake flippers glitch right now. If you transition the screen right after you hop into the water, you can do a little bit of swimming here, and so that's what he's doing, and that allows him to get to Ice Palace. So, not gonna expect to see any flippers here in Ice Palace because logically flippers are required, but still a pretty cool check here by Jet. Ooh, that was a rod. Over in Blue Brinstar. So that's like Fire Rod.
Yeah. Okay. So that's good. That's very good. That means a couple of things. That means that TR once they find Quake, they can get through all of it. They can't beat the boss yet because they don't have Ice Rod. Ice Rod could very well be in TR. So that's a gamble that these players could make there once they find their Quake medallion. It would make the ice palace a little bit faster, less magic intensive as they go through here. Not a lot else that it's going to help them with in terms of being a fire source, as they already have the lamp.
Right. Yeah, it's really just TR, Ice Palace, and Skull Woods. They can access
of course,
back of Skull Woods as well, which I'm not sure the item count there, but I don't think they found all the items there in Skull Woods, so that may still be something at large for them. Keku is sitting on 35 health here, has to be pretty careful, these side hoppers, but it looks like he's doing all right now.
Not even enough power bombs to Crystal Flash. He's got to be really careful.
Super careful. Jet setting up a really well-placed bomb jump there in Ice Palace to get through that room. It will really help him with his routing later. We may see a couple of other interesting bomb jumps from him as we go through this dungeon. I think Zos is gearing up with that Tempered Sword. Definitely a nice thing to have as you're going through the game.
So, as we're at a little bit of a lull here, where these players are kind of going through, things that we've already seen, with the exception of Jet here. Let's talk a little bit about what items we're missing here for Go mode. So, from the looks of it, in terms of just global knowledge here, we're missing Gravity, we're missing Ice Rod, and I think that's it.
I think the flippers are the only other item that we need in order to complete Swamp Palace, and then there's the Quake Medallion as well that we need for Turtle Rock. So, a few things left, but honestly, that's not that many things left. So,
it's really not.
Yeah, it can come together quickly.
Oh man, that's brutal. Okay,
that's so rude.
Oh, so Zos kind of got bailed out there by that item up there not being required. It's an extra power bomb pack still sitting at 5 max. It would have been awesome to get those, but just pixels from the breaking through those speed booster blocks. He ran out of energy. He had energy in reserve, so he could have refilled and actually made it up there, but he didn't. So that's just. That's tough. That's a tough break right there. But I want to talk a little bit more about Ice Rod and Quake specifically. Those items can basically be anywhere in the game. Those are two items where they don't really block all that many item locations, which allows them to be placed pretty much anywhere, which can really mean trouble for these players potentially. If it's just in some, really awful out of the way location that they just put off for a while.
Oh, and as a reminder, Quake is on Zora's Ledge. We totally forgot about that.
I missed it. Yeah.
It was Keku checked it a while back, and I totally forgot about it.
Okay, so then so the flippers are then required for that as well. So that's a 2-for-1. That's really nice. So then it's just going to be that Ice and Gravity then.
That's right.
Now, I will say, Gravity does not necessarily is not something that needs to be gotten in this to beat the game here. Okay, Zos is close to being dead.
So Team Snappy's Hawaiian host definitely playing it close to on the edge here, but he does have some reserve. Keku's sitting at 60 health, probably gonna go heal up here.
I should certainly hope so. He's right there. So, anyway, I don't remember what I was going for, but Jet here now at Cold Stare. Gravity not necessarily being required. There's a couple other items that you would want to have in order to do that, but Gravity just makes things so much faster in beating Dragon and traversing through Meridia. You could still have like the Ice Rod in Meridia somewhere. So definitely something that they might want to be getting. Jet taking it very safe up here. You noticed he's on the very, very top of the screen, so that when those puffs from the ceiling fall down, all of the particles actually hit the wall and don't disperse at all. So he's abusing that there to stay safe while he waits for the puffs to come in a favorable position so he can spin them. Because doing Ice Palace on 7 hearts, man, with green mail, it's rough.
But well done. Nabs
Absolutely.
his 3rd crystal. Cross product picking up Super Metroid bombs for their team. And we'll see where Jet decides to go from here. Looks like maybe a reset into Super Metroid. So maybe we'll see Jet clean up the Brinstar area. He's on a decent amount of health, actually. So he's been picking up a good number of E-tanks along the way.
And I don't believe Stoop's product has been into Brinstar at all.
No. Cross product decided to skip on by. And I think this is Jet's opportunity to kind of clean that up while Cross product heads deeper into, Kraid and Norfair, which looks like we're going to get some of these checks from Zoasty right now.
Hey.
But they still have not got Varia, so it's very unlikely to see Team Snappy's Hawaiian host, start doing some Norfair stuff. I mean, maybe they'll do some hell runs, but that'll end up being a bit slow, especially with us knowing where Varia is.
I mean, I'm really surprised that they didn't do Pod after going to Hype Cave. I mean, they found Morph, of course, but it's just Pod was just totally completable. Cross went down to refill his health and then sparked back up to check X-Ray. Now, with bombs and Varia, this is not going to be too tricky, but what we are going to see, what's going to be tough, is just all this health that he's going to, or the damage that he's going to take here. So this will be interesting to see if this pays off for him.
Yeah, he has to be pretty careful here. If he dies, he's going to lose a lot of progress. So you don't want to see that. Jet finding that sword up there in the gauntlet. He has Tempered right now, so I don't think he's going to be too concerned about that. Butter Sword. The difference between Master and Tempered is pretty significant, but the difference between Tempered and Butter Sword is not as significant. So more than likely not going to be picking that up, but maybe we'll see Cross do it. I think the other sword was in Meyer Shed.
So the damages have been changed a little bit in Super Metroid in terms of how much damage you take from certain things because of the suits. To balance the suits a little bit more, basically any environmental source of damage is going to be doing the normal amount to you with power suit and gravity. It's going to be exactly the same. However, Varia is the only thing that actually reduces environmental damage at all. So that's spikes, the electricity, the damage from lava and acid. All of those things are only reduced by a Varia suit. So that's why it made this play here from Cross much safer than if he could do spikes only doing 15 damage as opposed to 60 with either of the other suits. Unfortunately, not paying off there for him. Getting that E-tank. He did decide to take it, which makes sense. It's just it wasn't what he wanted.
Keku trying to bomb jump over to this cape. Having a little trouble here. Well, Zosi did find the Cane of Burna over at the Vanilla High Jump location. And now we're seeing some hell runs from Zosi, so he's decided to check the ice and below ice area. Maybe we'll see a croc play from him. Could be pretty interesting to see what Norfair offers, but he's going to have to spend some time farming if he wants to be able to, survive through this area, since he does not have the Varia suit. We need them to go over to Pod in order to get that. That's going to be really important, especially for lower Norfair. Like they can do upper Norfair fine, but lower Norfair with this amount of energy is just not happening.
Absolutely. One thing though that's really important, I don't think we actually saw it. We did see I think at least Jet go to the Meyer area, but did he dip into lower Norfair to check the screw attack item?
No, I don't think we've seen anything in lower Norfair. I mean, also has speed booster, so can get out of that screw attack room and head into Lower Norfair if he wants, and has, I guess he doesn't have SM bombs just yet, but we know that that's in logic in order to climb up the worst room in the game as well. So there are opportunities to make that Lower Norfair dive right now.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, with charge, plasma, like, and screw attack, I mean, it's not that bad of a play.
It's not terrible. It would be nice to find high jump or space jump to make things a little bit easier, but I mean, I know these guys can handle it.
I mean, also with bombs too, that allows that's basically traversal is just called completely in logic. Want to just point out Keku's health right now. Awesome 69.
Pretty dangerous 69 health.
It actually it is though. With no reserves, it's kind of a little bit scary.
Looks like Zoasty's going to take advantage of this energy refill station, or maybe not. He's going straight over to Crocomire. Oh boy. Looks like he's going to tap into some reserves here. Hopefully he has plenty. He's good. And with charge and plasma, see ya, Croc. One shot will take care of him. Absolutely.
He sees that plasma, he's like, oh, get it away from me! It's like his kryptonite. Now, Zos is not going to be able to check that item over there. He's very much likely just going to wait until he leaves and checks it. Because he does not have the health to get over there right now.
Jet finding Charge Beam for Team Stoop's product. I'm sure they're relieved to see that. Don't really have to worry about their ammo counts anymore. And they do indeed have Plasma as well, so... although I don't think Jet has equipped it yet. So, I mean, but that's still a very good thing for them. Cross with the spark through this room. I like that.
Okay, so Zos... Oh, no, never mind. I seen him running back the other way. I thought he was going to go spark to that item, but... I do want to... What's that? I'm sorry?
Sorry, there's Jet remembering to equip Plasma. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, that's who. I mean, it's surprising how like often that slips the mind, because it does not automatically come on equipped along with Spazer just to avoid some glitches. So you do need to do it manually if you get it in, you know, the other if you get it in A Link to the Past. And it's just so often, you know, at least personally, I forget all the time to equip it, and it's just bad. Excuse me. One thing I do want to point out, though, from that I know of the Snappy Hawaiian Toast team, just in general, they like to stay in SM for as long as possible. I mean, I do as well. However, you know, there's some merit to that, but both of them are staying in Super Metroid for a really long time, and it makes sense because, you know, like we mentioned before, their strength is definitely more so in Super Metroid, and so if they're able to get a seed where there's a lot of items in Super Metroid, and then they can just go and have a breeze in A Link to the Past, you know, that's, you know, lights out for their opponents for sure. You know, but I think that not being as in A Link to the Past as well, Zo seems to be very careful with his health. Not being in A Link to the Past as well, because there are a lot of things that they can do in that game still, you know, and just knowing that Pod has got a lot of, like, you know, Varia to help them with all their hell running that they're doing right now, it's definitely hurting them.
It is. So, you're going to see Cross product just kind of breeze through this area because he has that Varia suit. Does not need to farm at all. Just needs to, you know, bomb jump up here or, you know, make a little running jump in order to get to this area. So that's definitely going to help them speed up their traversal in Norfair, and eventually, I'm sure, Lower Norfair. One other interesting find, maybe one of the best finds of the match, was the blue mail that we found over at the grapple beam location. That is something that is really nice for Zos there, and I guess Keku found a blue mail somewhere else. I'm not exactly sure where that was, but that is just really nice to have the safety.
Well, and we know that... Oh, there we go. Okay. So what does that mean?
Oh man, so we got half magic and the flippers over in the Norfair Reserve area. Flippers opening up the entirety of Swamp Palace, a crystal dungeon that they must complete, which is very high density. It also allows us to collect that important Quake medallion, which is sitting over on Zora Ledge, which allows them access to Turtle Rock. Now, we don't have the ice rod, so we can't finish Turtle Rock, but we can go in and investigate, and maybe Ice Rod's sitting in there. We never know. So we'll just have to see how they decide to use that. But it looks like Cross is going to head over to Speed Booster and then probably Wave, as Zoasty also makes his way up to the Bubble Mountain area. Keku now has the knowledge of what is the Misery Mire requirement, found the sword and Bugnet in the Mire Shed, and Jet is about to pick up his Fire Rod.
Yep, and as you mentioned, you know, Cross is going to be flying through these rooms with relative ease, whereas Zoast is going to be going through them, you know, easily as well. However, it's just inherently slower because he's going to need to stop and farm, doing some really tricky wall jumps, actually, to get up Bubble Mountain there from Zoast. Well done there. Those are some tight wall jumps. But yeah, so Cross can just run through, not a care in the world, whereas Zoast is going to need to be a little bit more careful. He's going to need to farm. It's just going to take a little bit longer to get through those areas.
And there's that mail. That's the one we missed. The one up in Billy May's room. So that's the other mail upgrade that Jet just picked up there. So definitely a nice find for their team. And now we might see Jet go into some more dangerous areas of the world. Ooh!
No, dude! That's so good!
That's insane. Wow.
Oh,
so Fire Rod and Ice Rod found by Team Stoops product at nearly the exact same time here. That is a full Turtle Rock clear available now that they have the flippers in hand to get that Quake medallion.
Oh, baby. That could be so good.
We are one item from go mode, Wild.
We are one item from going. Okay, Alu, where are you thinking or hoping that Gravity is going to show up?
Oh, goodness. It can really just be anywhere, especially in Link to the Past. It can't be in Meridia. So, I mean, we literally can just go mode Meridia at this point, which is pretty amazing.
That's actually really good knowledge for them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, neither of them have found everything yet, but, yeah, anyway, continue, sorry.
So, I mean, I think the highest density dungeons is where you want to go, especially when there's some crystals involved. So Swamp Palace and Turtle Rock are really good candidates for having that gravity suit. And, I mean, I think flavor-wise, Swamp Palace is a good place, you know? It's where you'd find a gravity suit. What do you think?
Oh, I would... Okay. So... The competitor in me would love to see Gravity just like in some really just convenient location, and you know, it's just like go mode, let's go, let's just like clear everything super fast. But that's not the hat I'm wearing right now. The hat I'm wearing is that of a commentator and that of a viewer, and as well as everybody else in here, I'm sure they want to see the trolliest possible location for Gravity, and that would be the pedestal.
Oh boy. So, if we want to be able to pull Gravity out of the pedestal, we actually can right now. We have all of the required items to complete Palace of Darkness and Skull Woods. We do have the technology to pull that right out of the pedestal. Now, I know a lot of these players are very familiar with Suitless Meridia, but they do need some important items before they can make that happen. The Ice Beam that they've collected or know of is one of the important ones there. And then, I mean, really for this combo rando, you can backdoor Meridia, so you really just need Grapple, and typically Spring Ball helps a lot, but you can also do some fancy Shine Sparking, basically. Maybe Crystal Flash Sparking or whatever. I'm not sure what exactly it's called at Dragon. I'm sure you can elaborate. Crystal Spark.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's not Crystal. I mean, you're having a Crystal Flash interrupted by Dragon grabbing you, which when that happens, you get a Flash suit, which you can then use to escape Dragon's area.
That's what it's called, guys. That's
the whole name. That's the entire name of the trick.
Exactly.
You can have a Crystal Flash interrupted to get a Spark Suit to escape Dragon. That's what it's called.
All right. So Zoasty with about a tank and 27 here coming into the reserve area. We know there's half magic in the flippers. These are important items, but he's not going to survive this very well. This is really unfortunate for him. Looks like he's going to set up a Crystal Flash. Woo, we were just talking about Crystal Flashing.
Barely got that off. Wow, that was
very nicely done. And well rewarded with half magic and the flippers. Like, wait, I need that. Hold on. We do have cross product jumping into lower Norfair now. I don't believe cross product has picked up the charge beam, so he's going to have to farm super missiles here in order to defeat Golden Torizo. This can be a bit of a challenging fight. But he takes him down.
Easy breezy.
This could be actually really huge for Team Stoop's product if they do find the gravity suit in lower Norfair. That's another good place to be finding that gravity suit, because they do have that Varia advantage at the moment. Because we do know the Varia suit is in Palace of Darkness, and Team Snappy's Y and Host has not visited Palace of Darkness yet. They've missed out on their boots and their Varia. So you see Keku kind of just walking through Misery Mire. I guess that's apt. A miserable area, and not really finding too much.
Yeah, it's a huge disadvantage for Zoast Keku right now. Not having those boots for this entire time, really, you know, like over 30 minutes at this point at least, of not have, probably more than that, really, maybe closer to 45, of not having boots for A Link to the Past. As well as slowing down Varia Norfair traversal because of lack of Varia. It's definitely hurting them. But it's by no means the end of it for them, because they, you know, are doing things that Stoop's product have not done yet, namely Mire and Swamp Palace, which could have that gravity that we don't know where, the elusive gravity.
But they're also looking for Varia, so they have to find both of those items,
right,
in order to actually, you know, truly be in go mode. So that is something that is tasked on them, and hopefully they'll make their way over to Pod soon. It's just that jumping through Swamp without boots can be a bit slow as well, but they're still making good progress. They're working on Crystal Dungeons. Oh!
No! There it is!
Wow, no way!
Oh, okay. So that's really bad for Zoast and Keku. Also, Cross in a precarious situation. Bear almost had a huge problem there. But, okay. So that's go mode, or, well, no mode, really, because Cross still has to go grab his Fire Rod and Quake, or Ether Medallions, excuse me. But that's good. That is go mode for Team Stoop's product.
That's fantastic. So they know where all the items are collectively. They may each need to collect some of the items that the other have, but they know where all the items are that they need in order to complete both games. That is amazingly fast, actually. 1 hour and 30 minutes in, with each of them completing a few dungeons and a decent number of Super Metroid bosses on Cross's end. Jet needs to do a lot of Super Metroid cleanup, though. And Keku and Zoast have completed some of those bosses and some crystal dungeons. So, I mean, if Keku and Zoast end up finding that Varia quickly, then, you know, this could work out for them. But they have to find it first, really, to get to that gravity. That's the tricky part here. That's giving Cross and Jet a big advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. So you know, that means that we know that nothing is going to be in Swamp here. Now, that not being said, there's a very good play to go into Swamp, because it's a ton. There's like 6 items here for them to get. Plus, it's a crystal, so like it needs to be done anyway. So it's a good choice. However, we know nothing is going to be in there that's going to progress them towards completion. Is there anything in there, Alu, that you might want to see? Knowing what we know, what could be something that would be in there that you might want to find?
I think something awesome to find would be space jump, or maybe high jump boots to try to get through lower Norfair and Meridia a little bit faster, and even the end game, Turian, Mother Brain, some of that area would be hugely beneficial. Now, we do have Jet actually checking some of these locations here in Swamp, so I'm curious if they know about that quake on Zora Ledge. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's what I meant to say earlier. Quake, not Ether.
Jet is going to the west wing of Swamp right now.
Did they ever check it? I'm trying to think. Maybe maybe we jumped the gun. I don't know if they
must not know right now.
There's no other.
I don't understand. I don't think there's a world in which Jet would be checking the west wing of Swamp. I know he particularly dislikes that area of the dungeon. Yeah.
And it's just like, coupled with the knowledge that like a medallion could be like wherever,
Right, exactly. He would definitely be checking it if, that's at large for them, because,
exactly.
You have to be thorough, and, anything, these items can be anywhere, but the fact that he is not checking it, leads me to believe that they do not know where the quake is.
Okay, so that actually puts this race in a very interesting place right now.
It really does. It really does. And that overworld check is maybe not that appealing. That might be something we see Jet do soon, because he is kind of near Lake Hylia, so he could swim over to the Zora area, maybe take care of that, and he does have the rupees required to do it.
Yeah. Because they did recently just get their flippers, so it makes sense that it might have been something that they put off until later.
Right.
So logically thinking here, in terms of like efficient checks, like it might make sense for them to check it relatively soon after Swamp here. But I mean, when you're able to clear every other dungeon in the game, you might be seeing him opt more towards dungeons that they haven't cleared yet that are full clearable, because you're still making your way towards the end goal, while still checking items for that quake that could, as far as they are concerned, could be wherever.
I could certainly see them or Jet going to Turtle Rock right after this. I think that's very probable, honestly, because it also unlocks the Pyramid Ferry.
Oh, that's huge. There's like 5 items in Turtle Rock, plus Mimic Cave, plus the 2 additional for the 5, 6. The 2 from the Pyramid Ferry, yeah. There's a lot of items there. Huh. All right. I'm really curious to see how these players play this out here.
Yeah, this is now, like, sorry that we jumped the gun, but, Keku is in Palace of Darkness now, so they're going to find their Varia, and knowing their playstyle, they're probably going to end up in Super Metroid pretty quickly.
I agree, absolutely. And then they're going to find Gravity relatively quickly at that once they head back into SM, because very likely they're just going to take that Lower Norfair portal at Meyer, and it's, like 2 item checks, a GT clear and a Gold Chorizo clear and a couple items away, and then that should be go mode for them. Actually, this time, because they know they've seen Quake. Like do we know this? They don't have it, but they've.
Yeah, I know for a fact that somebody, I think it was Keku, went in and checked the Zora Ledge.
Okay.
After doing Catfish, one of them did. Right. I'm pretty sure it was Keku. So otherwise, we wouldn't know that Quake is there.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Someone had to have checked it, and I mean, yeah, if it's gotta be Keku zoasty team. So definitely had gotten his boots and his Varia now, Keku. So he's relayed that to his partner. He's probably going to head there immediately. Yes, we see him fluting a 5. Gonna grab those and then see where they go from there. Again, like you're predicting, I'm assuming we're gonna see it and just go straight into Lower Norfair.
Yeah, it's something you have to do, and somewhere where you can find some extra items. Looks like we've got Jet probably jumping into Misery Mire now. Another crystal, so makes sense to clear it. We saw Keku do this earlier, so we know there's kind of nothing here, but still a decent play. Now, the unfortunate part of finding gravity and not being in go mode is what, Wild?
Oh, we've already mentioned. Well, you mentioned it earlier. Is that it would just be as a go mode Meridia. You don't have to check anything. But oh baby, are there a lot of items in Meridia, and does it take a long time to check them all? My goodness. So that's probably what Cross Product is going to be doing right now, which is actually super bad. It's going to take a long time to get all of those things done, and we know that their go mode item is not there.
Oh, but he is going back in to Link to the Past. Interesting. I mean, maybe we'll see a backdoor Meridia instead, which could be an interesting way to approach it. Even though we do have the speed booster and the ice beam to kind of get through. But maybe they're also thinking, I mean, this is a 2v2, and the second player on the team to finish, that time is recorded as the team's time. So they may be thinking Cross might be behind, or Cross needs to start taking over some of these checks for Jet, because you want to finish at the same time. That's the ideal situation. So, balancing that very carefully is part of the team dynamic here. You don't want to do all the Super Metroid stuff and then end up, being behind on all the Link to the Past stuff in your partners, in Ganon's Tower and completing the game. And, you still have a bunch of stuff to go. Gotta balance it out.
And that's a whole other thing we haven't even talked about, really. I think we may have mentioned it earlier on, but the balance between completion between you and your partner, making sure that if you're like an item or two from go mode, like the partner that's got more progression towards the end of the game done needs to slow themselves down and be doing more checks. And the person who's behind needs to just focus more on collecting what they know they need, and just completing dungeons and SM bosses. So it's a balancing act that takes a lot of practice to get down. It's not an easy thing to be able to do.
Yeah, and that's what, makes these players so amazing at this game, and these teams so coherent. They're able to communicate in such a way. They have the experience and knowledge to be able to realize that and balance appropriately. And so it looks like Cross doing some cleanup here, getting owned in the hell way.
Trying really hard to get that God Pixel. Ended up taking a bunch of damage.
And here goes Keku. Guess where he's going?
Right where we thought he would.
Yeah, he's going to be grabbing his flippers up at Norfair Reserve, so that's a good, start.
I mean, yeah, the half magic and the ice rod, too.
Exactly. Everything's kind of up here. And it looks like Zoasty is going to collect the silver arrows over in the secret passage. Just kind of a little cleanup here. Maybe you see him jump into some trickier dungeons. Trying to make good use of those. Jet running pretty dry here in Misery Mire, so off to Vitreous. I mean, he's going to be grabbing his 5th crystal here, and then probably comboing in Desert with this into Lower Norfair to grab his gravity suit. So he has a nice route set up for him, but he also has to beat all of the Super Metroid bosses. So more than likely, you know, these guys are just going to be kind of cleaning up for a bit here, but they still need to get that Quake. I don't think they know about it.
God, that's actually really the longer that it gets put off, the more and more it's just going to end up hurting them. I wish I could know what's going on in their conversation. It's the one thing that I think is a little bit unfortunate about the 2v2 tournament. It's just not practical to, you know, be able to hear the players in their conversations, but I think it's just another element, another level of the format that is just super interesting, to be able to hear the players' thought process, and what they're planning on doing, their routes, you know, and I think that's a really cool thing, and it's unfortunate that we missed out on it, but they still provide this really awesome entertainment, and it just, you know, adds a suspense factor, you know, like, when is Stoop's product gonna get that Quake, you know? When is Keku gonna go into Lower Norfair, because we thought he was, and he's not gonna go get that gravity now, you know? Like, is he maybe just avoiding the lava dive because he doesn't have high jump and doesn't want to do high jumpless lava dive? Probably. Is he gonna go in through Mire? Probably.
Probably.
But
Meanwhile, we have zoasty going into Pendant Skull Woods instead. So that's kind of a bit of a dud play, based on our knowledge. I mean, obviously they don't know about that because they need to find that gravity, but you know, that's not really going to work out, although this Moth fight is going very well for him. He's doing a great job.
Yeah, Moth is being pretty friendly there, coming off the spikes. Makes it a little bit easier to hit him, but he's still managing it very well when he is on the spikes there.
Did we find a book?
No.
Because Cross is just running his book over there.
He found a book!
The pedestal. It's a fairy in a bottle.
Wow. Don't listen to me. We found a book. It's somewhere.
Must be in, like, Lower Norfair or something.
Probably.
After Ridley. Behind Ridley, there was a book. Why? Ridley's, like, Professor Ridley. A little study in the back there.
Dude, you've heard it here first. Ridley is studying Hyrule to conquer it in his next expedition. The land of Hyrule is being taken over by Ridley. That's what's happening. The new crossover game.
Heard it here first.
Highly anticipated crossover.
Highly anticipated. Got him.
That's so good. Oh my god. Okay. Anyway, all right. So looks like Keku is coming back. He was going to be grabbing his Quake. I'm wondering if he's going into TR now. Oh baby. Is that not the play that needs to happen, knowing that what we know? But it's super interesting. I can definitely see the reasoning behind this. Like we were saying, there's a lot of items. There's a lot of items at TR right now.
There's a huge number of items there. I don't blame them at all.
No, not at all. Yeah, it's just super bad. Because what he needs is not there.
It's crazy how both of these teams are literally just going exactly where the items they need aren't. Like, that's how it feels right now. But you know what? Turtle Rock is still a required crystal. So it's still making progress towards your end goal, and you're helping route for your partner and stuff too. So it's really not that bad of a play. Yeah.
It's just like being able to go mode that dungeon is quite a bit faster in some cases. There's some cases where just the layout of the keys and stuff just makes it slow and you basically have to full clear it anyway. But you know, generally you're going to want to go mode as much as you can, of course.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's not the worst. It's not the worst thing that could happen.
All right, so Jet doing the cleanup here, grabbing his SM bombs, which pretty important for getting through Lower Norfair at this point. We have not found space jump or high jump. These are really nice items for LN. And it looks like Jet will be going to fight Fantoon shortly, so just doing some Super Metroid cleanup. Jet will likely just try to beat all the bosses here, I imagine, while Cross is cleaning up a lot of Link to the Past. So they're not really losing time because they're doing stuff that's required anyways, but you know, at a certain point, they're going to need to start hunting for that quake.
Yeah, it's surprising to me that there's this overlap going on when there's still that, like, it just, Meyer's not, yes, like you say, it's you know, progressing towards their end goal, of course, but it's like when you're one item from go mode, it's, to me, it's a little bit harder to justify going into something like Meyer where your partner has already completed it. There's nothing there that you need. You know, and there's still stuff that you're looking for. You know, like,
it's
I would
tricky. It's tricky. I think if you're both doing it, I don't think you're really wasting time, because then you're. But at the same time, like, why do you need to do it in the first place? I mean, I think there's an argument if one person needs to catch up, but
it's just, yeah.
Looks like Jet is going to Lower Norfair to get gravity. That's why he went to get his SM bombs. So they may intend to put him into Meridia. Is kind of what I'm thinking, since he is going to grab that.
Yeah, that would make sense. That would make sense. And you do see, we do know that GT has got nothing in here. However, it's going to be there unless Jet has bombs. I guess it's just faster anyway. He's already killed GT anyway. Okay. Yeah. So morph bombs, bomb jumping up to the top there would work as well. But of course, shine sparking is just really fast, especially when GT's already dead. So there you go.
Exactly.
It looks like Cross going into desert now, which again Jet has also already done.
Yeah, it looks like Cross is just getting some crystals done right now. With 3 crystals done already for Cross. I mean, I guess Jet has 7 or 6, excuse me, 6 crystals done, but Cross has got 3 SM bosses done. This is where it becomes tricky as a team to figure out, all right, who is behind, who needs to be catching up, who needs to be, you know, looking for things, who needs to be, you know, what all of those questions that you have to ask yourself. It becomes really hard to balance all of that there. It's hard to gauge. It really is. Yeah. And different players have different strengths in different games and different situations within those games. It becomes very hard to figure out. But
right.
Looks like Zoasty has picked up the Quake medallion. Maybe we'll see him jump into Turtle Rock because he is up on the mountain now. And
like,
Keku is in the desert area, so I suspect he may go into Lower Norfair soon.
I certainly hope so. They gotta find that. They gotta find that gravity. I mean, it's really anybody's game right now. They're both looking for one item. It looks like Zoast is going to be going into TR. Already kind of talked about this play here. Not a bad play with the knowledge that they have. Jet got his gravity now.
So good.
It's super dense, yeah. It's going to be like a total of like 7 items when all's said and done.
And maybe he'll find something that helps him get through Lower Norfair that much quicker. You know, if he finds high jump or space jump in there, that'll speed things up like crazy.
God, either one of those just makes it so much faster. Like it's ridiculous. They're so good. They're so good. They're so good.
I hear they're so good.
I had to say it 3 times because that's how good they are. They're so good. So, all right. Zo's heading into TR. Karash just finished up Desert. Keku
mirror bonking in the desert, and then he's going through his portal. He's already beat Meyer. He's going to Lower Norfair.
There's just
Keku is going to Lower Norfair. There's no other place for him to be. Does a little dance in this circle. He's going to Lower Norfair.
All right. So this very likely means Team Snappy's Hawaiian host is gonna be in go mode within just 2 to 3 minutes from now.
Yeah, and you'll more than likely see Zoasty skipping past the Mimic Cave if Keku finds the gravity suit before that point.
Yep. Cross going to check the Bombos tablet.
Well, he was the one who found that book back behind Ridley, so, you know, you got to take advantage of those things that you have. Would be pretty funny to see, you know, like, space jump and high jump on the tablets or something, but looks like just a missile pack here.
But, you know, it's something, like you were saying, yeah, you want to take advantage of it. You want to check those locations, especially when your partner's coming up on whether or not they need to pick that item up. But something like book, though, at Ridley E-Tank, it's so fast that, like, if you're not sure whether or not it's an item you need, you just pick it up anyway. Like, it's so quick. It matters a lot more, though, when it's like an item in a really out-of-the-way location. Like, you know, say like a fetch quest for like a shovel or, you know, a powder or something. You want to get that checked really quickly so that, you know, your partner knows whether or not they need to go all out of their way to grab that or not.
Zoast's having a little trouble here with these chain chomps, getting a bit low on health. Has to be very careful. These things do a ton of damage. They'll also eat your Samaria blocks. Exactly,
they keep eating it just like for lunch.
He's got the jukes on him. He's on his way. He's got powder too. It looks like he's busting out his bottle to save himself some health. Now, I do think there is some interesting merit to what Jet and Cross are doing, in that they are just completing stuff that they have to do anyways. And, you know, once they're done with these things, they can look for their last item and, you know, try to define who's in the lead, who needs to be searching, which I think at this point might be cross-product. Since he's able to go mode a lot of these dungeons, and you kind of just have to go down into Lower Norfair and stuff to fight Ridley and get to Dragon and all that. They can be a bit time-consuming in Super Metroid. But there's some merit here because, you know, look over on Keku and Zo's side, 4 crystals and 3 crystals apiece versus 4 crystals and 6 crystals. So, you know, Cross and Jet have padded themselves with a little bit of breathing room, but not a lot. Like, they need to be getting there soon, because once Keku gets this bomb jump, he's going to basically have his gravity suit for the team.
Right. That's a really good point that you make. Yeah, they do have a little bit of buffer in terms of things completed, but, like, that's just the thing, is they're completing these things that they need to complete, but they're spending time checking all the items in them, whereas, you know, Zoast and Keku will be able to just fly through them without doing that once they get into go mode here in just a few minutes. So it's a tricky situation. It just makes for a really, really interesting race, honestly, because you just don't know. You have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's honestly still anyone's game. Jet does need to do a bit more Super Metroid cleanup, so that's where kind of he's behind, but that can happen very quickly as well, since he's now done Ridley.
But that's it. That's go mode for Snappy Hawaiian Host, though. The same thing happening to Keku that happened to Cross. Almost falling down there in Mickey Mouse. But yeah, so that is actual go mode this time. We did not, did not jump the gun. Snappy Hawaiian Host is in go mode. Keku having 2 bosses in SM, along with Zoast as well. Zoast needing another 4 crystals, where Keku needs 2. Or, I'm sorry, 3.
Yeah, they're in really good shape right now. You can see Zoast actually just bailed on... Oh, his health is really low. But he just bailed on that Mimic Cave check and Big Chest check in Turtle Rock. In theory, that could bite him, because the small key could be there. Or maybe since he might have already checked Vanilla Big Key, he might be okay. May have already deduced that the key is on Laser Bridge. I'm not sure, but either way, you could just see him peace out. Like, he just didn't care at all about the other Turtle Rock checks. He's just gonna go towards the end of the dungeon, find his key, and go to the boss.
Yeah, and I mean, even in the scenario where he did end up, it might be at the big chest, that small key, chances are high that it's on Laser Bridge. So there it is anyway. So he's good to go. He's not even going to bother checking the rest of those chests. If it were me, I probably would have been checking those chests, you know, just like Al's been saying, like for space jump, high jump, it's just going to speed up your traversal of Lord Nerfer just so much. They're just so fast. They're so fast. They're so fast.
And even in Turian and in the escape and stuff, if you find one of those items there, it can help you with, you know, baby skip or whatever. It helps your partner too. You're not just helping yourself; you're helping another person. It's a
team. It's a team check. You know,
right.
you're still helping them go quickly. Because like, and with the thing like Laser Bridge, especially when there's a key on the last chest there anyway, like you're running right by all the other ones. And it's super fast to check those, you know, and it's super fast to check them. The potential time save from getting something like high jump or space jump off of those just far exceeds the time that you spend checking it.
Right. But the odds of it being there also might be kind of low. So you have to weigh the risk reward, and like to play, you know, the counterpoint, you know, it might, if he's comfortable with what he's doing, and Zos is a very apt player of many categories of Super Metroid where you don't have a lot of items, a lot of low percent categories, you know, maybe he's used to it. He doesn't need it. So, it's probably fine. It's whatever the player's comfort level is at that point, and the team's comfort level too. You gotta be watching out for your buddies too.
Exactly. Like, maybe Zoast is comfortable with it. Maybe he's just good to go, but maybe Keku is not. You know, and so like keeping in mind like what your partner's comfort level with things is an important part to playing this as well. Because again, we said it a couple times, the official time for your team is the second place finish. So, you know, if your partner is really struggling with getting something done because they don't have a certain item and you might have been able to find it in another location that they could have gotten, right? It's hurting your team in that way.
Looks like Zoast is happy to pick up that ice beam on the floating island there. Keku's still checking a couple locations, checked after Ridley. You know, that's a pretty quick check. Grab the book there. Probably not going to really make any use of it, but we'll see. You know, maybe Ether Tablet right before GT. Ganon's Tower, to be specific.
Right, and that's another situation where you might see people like players, whoever is in GT first, they might find the big key and continue to check items. Again, for that same reason of trying to help your partner out. You know, if there's something in GT that's very close to the big key, you know, that wouldn't take a whole lot of time to get, that could speed up your partner when they get back into the, you know, SM. You know, it's a really good gamble to be making. You know,
anything can help too. Like it can be a piece of heart that fills up a heart that gives them a refill that helps them continue. You know,
exactly.
Or half magic. I mean, we know where that is, but like, you know, powder. Safety items like Cape or Blue Cane or E-Tanks so that you can do stand-up glitch at Mother Brain. Stuff like that can help speed things up. Yeah.
And so there's that mail upgrade that Jet went... We know Cross already went down to Croc, but he died before he could check the grapple beam location. So that's another little bit of time there that the Team Stoops product had to use to check that.
Definitely couldn't do this sign room though, so looks like Jet's going back to check for Quake here. No luck. We know it's over at Zora Ledge, and we got Cross going into Meridia now from the bottom side, so this is going to be a bit costly. It'll be interesting to see where Jet goes from here. If he decides to do some of those water locations, they could, you know, jump right back into official go mode as opposed to our declared early go mode, and actually make some good progress towards the final goal. So as a reminder, we do have Team Stoops product, Cross Product, and Jet082 versus Team Snappy's Hawaiian Host, zoasty and kekumanshoyu. Zoasty and Keku right now with a very nice lead, finding all the items they need to complete both Super Metroid and Link to the Past. This is a randomizer, a combined randomizer of both games, so the goal is to beat both games, and they do have the items they need to complete them. Cross Product and Jet have not checked the Zora Ledge, so they do not know where Quake Medallion is, and right now they are searching for their tournament lives to find it. Winner of this moves on in the loser's bracket to face Solsky and Maniacal. And Team Bootless Suitless, and the other will get knocked out of the tournament. So this is pretty big for both teams. Need to be in a different water area, Cross.
Yeah. Oh man, this is a lot of checks, a lot of time that going through Meridia is going to take.
It really is, but he's doing a pretty good job of routing it efficiently. He has some good movement items like Speed Booster using Screw Attack to, you know, screw through some enemies. He's got some good mechanical skill as well, and did go back to pick up that Charge Beam, so going to be able to kill these enemies pretty quickly. I think he's going to elect to grab Ice on the way to TR or after Turtle Rock, so still doing things pretty efficiently and quickly. It's just not the right place as we know it.
Oh, well, there's high jump. So that's a sight for sore eyes, I'm sure. Obviously not what they're wanting, but it's a good thing there to find. I'm wondering if Jet is actually going into the back of Meridia. If they're gonna take this from both sides here.
That would be a pretty awesome tag team. It looks like he may be going to clean up Palace of Darkness, maybe? Oh no, he's jumping into the water. I mean, this is an opportunity to mirror and check some of these water locations. Maybe Lake Hylia Island. Oh, he is mirroring. This could be the chance for Cross and Jet to find what they need.
It's definitely not too late for them to come back here. Get that Quake.
Is he gonna go check the hobo while he's here, or the water areas? It looks like not. Just jumping straight into Meridia, which isn't bad because you do have to kill Dragon anyways. The problem is, where do you go from there?
Exactly. Yeah. Like you've been saying, you know, they're still making progress towards their end goal. It's just, you know, this time they're taking to check a couple extra items that don't necessarily need to be checked.
Yeah, you got Keku finishing up a Go Mode Swamp Palace, which can be very quick, and then he's going to jump into Ice Palace, another dungeon you can Go Mode with a well-timed bomb jump that we saw Jet execute earlier, and then he has Turtle Rock. Zoasty actually finishing up Desert Palace right now, and then he just has Ice Palace left. So these guys are going to just be able to Go Mode the Ice Palace dungeon entirely. They never even set a foot in there yet, and
Spring Ball!
Pretty awesome. Oh, hey!
Sorry to interrupt. I can't help myself there.
No, you can't, but you know what? It's worth it. Spring Ball, one of the sweetest movement items in the game.
There's an E-Tank.
Nice. That gets Jet to the 7 requisite tanks needed to perform the stand-up glitch at Mother Brain.
And like we were saying, with those with that full loadout of beams, that stand-up is going to save the maximum amount of time.
And they may need to save a maximum amount of time because Zoasty has just finished Desert Palace. He has one more crystal to go, and that's Ice Palace, and then we'll be seeing some Ganon's Tower action more than likely.
Yep, and with Keku just finishing up Swamp now, he's only got 2 left as well. Or excuse me, he's got 2 left. Zostis has 1. Keku's got 2 there.
Getting some tandem Dragon kills here. I think that's pretty fun. But Jet does still need to beat Phantoon and Kraid, so still a bit of work for him to do in Super Metroid. More than likely, we'll see cross-product jump out of here and or maybe check some of the other Meridia locations while Jet goes and cleans those up. Shoutouts to that bloopy there.
Good old Bloopy. Buddy old pal. Always being there for me when I needed you most.
Hey, 5's better than none.
I guess. Yeah, so what we're gonna be seeing from Zoast here is going into Lower Norfair, grabbed his is gonna grab his gravity, clear Ridley, and he's got a choice. A really interesting choice. One that I like a lot. Is after clearing Ridley, actually traversing backwards instead of going out through the traditional way to escape Lower Norfair, going backwards and going back into oh no, that's not what I'm trying to say. He could actually then go straight
backwards
to
through Amphitheater. Is that what you're thinking?
Well, no. Well, that's what I was thinking, but I was thinking of the wrong dungeon. That he's doing ice, not Mire. So what he's likely going to do is go kill Ridley, go to Meridia, kill Dragon, and then take the portal that we just saw Keku take to go into the back of Meridia, and he's going to do that and then mirror and go into ice from there. It's going to spit him out right in front of Ice Palace, which is his last dungeon that he needs to do.
Alright, there's gravity for Zoast. His health is not very good going through Lower Norfair, so he's got to be pretty careful. But again, he knows what he's doing. Keku taking the refill there near the save station and finding his 7th energy tank, so that's going to be nice for stand-up.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, Jet checking the plasma beam location after Dragon, and crossproduct checking out those sand pits. They're really trying to find that Quake. Just not in the right place.
So explain why he saved and reset there while doing the sand pits.
So this is actually a nice technique to scout out locations. So you can... There are 2 different sand pits, and it takes a while once you go through one to get all the way back to this area so you can check the other one. So if there's nothing good in the first one and you've saved and you reset, then you can just go check the other one and have more information, because information's everything, as you can see in this randomizer. Keku and Zoast checked that Zora ledge, and they had that information for the whole game. They remembered that it was there, and then they came back, collected it, and are in a really great position to take this match.
You know, Alu, I think it's really great that you mentioned that they saw that there really early on and that they remembered it was there, because that's really important.
It really is. Oh, I've forgotten a number of things in my time, but
we both have.
Mistakes have been made.
Mistakes have been made. No, but all joking aside, yeah, this combo is hard. It's hard. There's a lot happening, especially with combo, when you have to remember like things for your opponents as well, or for your teammate as well. Like, there's just a lot happening. It's not easy to do.
Got this Ridley fight from Zoast here. Just plugging away with those charge shots. Got to be a little bit careful with the health, but that gravity suit definitely helping with some of the damage. It's doing fine though.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. If anybody's gonna be good in this fight, it's definitely Zoast.
Very nicely done. I like the front-facing pickup.
Like a scene from The Office. Look at the camera.
Exactly. No luck up on the Ether tablet. Jet is piecing out of Meridia. This could be an opportunity for him to check some of these water locations. I think he's doing it. I want to say this is happening right now.
Cross getting stuck there. Just that dead rock not letting him up the stairs in the Hera.
Actually, good on them to remember that they left this basement check open
Oh, this is so long ago. Wow, yeah.
I know.
All right, here it is. Come on, Jet. Let's see that quake. Wow, this is going to be extremely close.
This is going to be pretty tricky. The only thing is, looks like Team Snappy's Hawaiian host has a lot more Super Metroid done than Jet does. And so, but Jet's bosses are a little bit easier. You know, this is going to be a hard one. Because they both still have Ice Palace, and Keku does have Turtle Rock. I don't know. This is going to come down to execution.
Yep, and you see Cross in the middle of the tile room, just peace immediately upon Jet saying, "There's Quake here! There's Quake here! Come get it quick!" Something along those lines, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But that is it. That is go mode for Team Stoops product. So let's see. It's just an execution battle from here, with the exception of the Ganon's Tower Big Key. Where is that going to be? Now, the one advantage that Stoops product has over Snappy's Hawaiian host right now is Cross has high jump. So that's
and Spring Ball.
And Spring Ball. So that's gonna make his traversal through Turian that much faster.
But it looks like Cross and Keku have about the same amount of stuff completed right now. Keku just a little bit ahead here in Ice Palace. So again, it's going to come down to execution. Meanwhile, Zoasty does have to complete Dragon. Jet needs to do Turtle Rock, Kraid, and Fantoon. So it looks like they're sending Jet up to Turtle Rock to kind of scout out the landscape here and maybe find the Ganon's Tower Big Key, since he is a bit ahead. But I don't know how long that Super Metroid's going to take. That's the tricky part.
Absolutely, yeah. It's. I just have no idea. I just have no idea. You know what? I think we just sit back, we enjoy this, we just like take it all in.
It's tense, man. I don't know if you guys can do that. This is gonna be close, and we got Zoasty coming up here to the Meridia Tube. He's coming up to the Meridia Tube, and he's gonna be going all the way through Meridia here.
Oh, it's just like it's just relax just a minute here. Like, oh, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Yeah. No, absolutely not. I'm really on the edge of my seat. I can't. I'm really anxious to see how this is going to be unfolding.
Yeah, this is crazy. Looks like Keku has just finished up Ice Palace. Cross did get the bomb jump in ice, so he's zooming right along, and we'll be completing this very shortly. Keku still has Turtle Rock, though. Still a little ways to go, so I think Team Stoops product will be the first into GT. It's just a question of if those Super Metroid bosses, like how, I don't know how long that's going to take. Getting to Kraid is a little bit tricky, although you can do it from the Norfair portal. That's still a little bit time-consuming. And then you also got to do Fantoon?
But the time, yeah, I was going to say, the time-consuming part of these bosses, I wouldn't say is Kraid. I would say it's Fantoon.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this is gonna be close. Ooh, that! Oh, thank goodness!
David the fairy! Oh man! Woo.
That is a hero of a fairy right there.
Oh my god, that fairy just saved them super hard. Oh man, I was a little bit heartbroken there for a second.
Yeah, and Cross is just sitting here on green mail and 9 hearts, so this is pretty rough. That's, again, execution. You got to be on top of your game. Maybe worthwhile to go buy some potions when you're in a position like this, but, you know, do you justify the time spent going and doing it? He might be a little bit ahead. I think I would do it.
The thing is, though, like, let's try and think about how Team Stoops product is thinking right now, though. Like, they know that knowledge of Quake was available very early on, and like that's just a fact that they know from just because of its location. And how do you think they're feeling right now, though, having gotten it over 2 hours into the seed?
It's tough to say because maybe they think some of the other items that they found, you know, were in places that they didn't expect zoasty and Keku to check. Maybe Pod, right? Like, which actually happened.
That's true.
Zoasty and Keku didn't find boots for good, like, 30, 40 minutes after cross-product and Jet, and same with Various Suit, which locked gravity. But it's really comes down to the order in which you approach these things.
Yeah. But it's like, I mean, it's as far as like morale and like just that knowledge, it's like that could have been gotten so much longer. It can be pretty discouraging to find something like that so late.
Nice blue suit there from zoasty taking down Dragon.
Trying to go for the spark suit, but fails it. A double frame perfect trick.
Got a swag, dude.
You gotta go for it, man. Gotta go for it. Although I'm not actually sure getting the spark suit is worth without high jump boots.
Fair enough.
Because getting out of Dragon's room is still really slow. Excuse me.
Let's see the order in which Jet checks these. So there's a super pack there in the first chest. Not super helpful at the moment. An E-Tank could be helpful.
No, that's actually good because Cross has not gotten to 7 yet. I believe he's still at 5.
Okay, that's very nice. Finds the key and bails out of there.
Leaving that third chest forever unchecked.
Maybe Keku will do it for us, even though he knows it's not necessarily worth.
Maybe it's Space Jump, man.
That would be so crazy.
Yeah, and here's Zoast doing pretty much what I was thinking here. He's just going to go head on over, mirror, jump into ice, and be on his way to GT, I'm sure. Yeah,
that's it. That's going to be his final crystal, but we've got Jet coming here up to try next, and this will be his final crystal. We do have a little bit of a sword advantage over on zoasty and Keku's side as well. It is of note that they do have the butter sword compared to Jet and Cross's tempered sword. But that's not going to make a huge lead for them, but it will speed up some things.
I mean, I really think the tricky thing here is going to be Cross's no mail to everybody else's at least 1, Jet's 2.
Yeah, I agree.
Like we already saw a near-death experience there at Cold Stare. I'm a little bit concerned. I have faith in my boy Cross Product. I am slightly concerned though. Like the rest of the game is hard, and things do a lot of damage. Like these rolling pins do 3 hearts.
It's way too much when you're sitting on 9. 3 hits and you're down.
Absolutely.
But he does have Bug Net, and he can catch fairies. He also has Powder, so...
Hold on, wait! We have to do something real quick. We can't forget, because Jet is on his way to GT!
Alright, our fun guessing game here in Ganon's Tower. We are jumping in. We gotta find that big key, but there are 22 locations in Ganon's Tower. Where is the big key? Guess it up in the chat. And, Wild will smile at you one day. You're right.
I didn't want to interrupt you there, but I didn't want to deprive our viewers of their fun game here. So, where are you thinking, Alu? Where are you?
Number 1. Here we go.
Number 1.
Just right there. Boom.
I think number 2. I think number 2.
You can't guess after the first one's checked. That's a little unfair.
Yeah. I didn't put it in the chat. It's all good.
Jet going right immediately. Gonna check this compass room. 4 more chests here. Skipping right past the tile room. Pretty typical strategy these days in Link to the Past.
Well, especially when you're in GT first, as over your partner.
Yeah, if you can find him quick here on the right, it can be very advantageous.
But again, it's also not losing you that much time if it's not here because you're ahead of your partner.
Exactly. In co-op, this way does make a bit of sense. Grapple.
Grapple. Let's go back to spring.
Oh!
That's so good. Okay. So, that's really good.
But Keku is right behind him right now. So, the question is, where will Keku go? This could really determine the match here. And the execution going forward. That is beautiful execution on Cold Stare, by the way, from zoasty.
Yeah, super good.
Really nicely done. And he has also grabbed the 7th crystal there. So, I mean, these guys are both going to be in Gannis Tower. They may end up splitting it up. It's really good timing on their part. Jet's really got to make every second count because, again, he has to clean up Vantoon and Kraid, but he is already, he already has the big key. He can scout up some of the locations at the top of the tower, but, I mean, he still has a bit to do.
I mean, I think he needs to not be doing that. And he just needs to go.
Yeah.
Because he's definitely behind. He's got 2 bosses down out of 4.
Right.
Whereas both players on the other team have every boss dead, every crystal gotten. So I'm not sure that the couple of minutes that Jet has in his GT is going to make up for the fact of those 2 bosses, especially when Keku is going right side first.
He sure is right now, unless he decides to do this crazy tile room play, which he is not doing. That is looking pretty good. zoasty still has to, climb the mountain here and get into the TR portal. And Cross is going to finish Trinex and end up right there as well, but it looks like zoasty has overtaken Cross, so I think Keku and zoasty are just really officially ahead at this point. It's still going to be close, but I don't know. Well, I guess that Wall Master kind of maybe changes things a little bit.
Oh, wow. That's a rough Wall Master to get grabbed by, my goodness.
Pretty rude. Oh, almost got grabbed again. So now I think zoasty will be going left for a little bit, although Keku's almost there. And there's the big key. Zoast grabs the small key there and then immediately switches back over to Mirror. And he is piecing over to the right side. Cross, meanwhile, grabbing Ice Beam, so a little bit of extra time spent here, but well worth it. Jet not checking a single thing at the top there, just getting the key he needs. Definitely want that magic. Can understand not getting the hearts. He's got red mail. And Keku is making the gauntlet climb now. On 4 hearts, has to be a little bit careful through this climb. Hopefully has some safeties along the way. Really nice Moldorm too from Jet here. So yeah, almost got the big key.
Yeah, I don't know what Keku's bottle situation is looking like. But there's the fairy room right before I start the gauntlet here, which looks like he's going to be doing that because he's got his bombs out now.
I do see a blue potion as well in his inventory, so he's probably fine, but I think he's playing it safe. You don't want to die and cost your team the run if you die at like the top of Gannis Tower, because that's gonna be the biggest time loss for your team.
It's gonna be pretty bad. I mean, we saw some costly deaths already in this race here. Like with Zoast dying at the top of Aghanim's Tower.
Right.
It was a pretty costly one early on.
But at least now it's mitigatable. Like, I don't think they really had the option at that point. True. Yeah.
Yes. You're right. Yes, of course.
So taking advantage of all your safeties, just part of the game.
Cross just a room away from his big key. And Keku through the gauntlet. As Jet enters down into the game.
A lot of trouble here, unfortunately, and down to 1 heart. Takes a death. Ooh. Did he refill his fairies? He did.
He's got a fairy. Yep.
Been playing it really safe, which is good for their team. He's got to speed things up here.
He's running low on his magic as well. He's just going to kill these Gibdos.
He should be fine on magic. You don't really need too much magic until, like, they give you magic in the dungeon. That's
true. You're right. Yeah. And Jet having a pretty solid Ganon fight here now. Looking good already. He's just about to wrap it up. Zos got 1 more gauntlet room to go as Keku's approaching his last couple rooms at the top of GT.
I do have to say, Zos has been flying through this gauntlet. He's been doing really well.
Yeah.
Really nice torch glitch there with the fire rod from Jet into a double. Gonna be sealing this out here. And that is gonna be 1G for Jet. But he's still got to beat Super Metroid. He still has Kraid and Phantoon to complete. So this is going to be an uphill battle because we got Zoasty and Keku almost at the top of the tower.
But there was Space Jump in the mini Helma room.
Wow. Oh my goodness. That is such an amazing find.
That really helps Metroids. That really helps Metroid rooms.
Every second counts, and Keku knows. I mean, they've been talking with each other. They know that Keku's ahead right now, and so he has the luxury to check a couple extra items, and that's given them an advantage in this race. It might even come down to that. We got Jet coming back into Norfair here to clean up Kraid. Makes sense. And then maybe we'll see him climb Red Tower and go up to the wrecked ship, but he doesn't really have a good way to get up Red Tower. I guess he can spark if he knows how. Or he can bomb jump. So we may end up seeing him, you know, go back through the Norfair portal and maybe reset or something.
Having a little trouble getting up to the Kraid layer entrance though, because with speed stunts your jump height. You can make it if you get a pretty much full run speed in the bottom of that room and jump up. But it looks like he's just going to take speed off and make it up that way. There he goes. That's a bad pattern there for Aghanim 2 there for Keku.
Pretty abysmal.
That was a not nice thing that Aghanim 2 did.
He might have got another double there, which is not bad.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot that he could have done with that pattern. It's just an unfortunate one to get. Anything where the real Aghanim is close to a corner is just pretty awful.
Cross plugging away at these landmos, having a bit of trouble with the silver arrows, but he's getting them, and they're down. Hopefully we'll see a Kraid quick kill here at the 2 hour and 28 minute mark.
Oh, man. Oh, Zos not having a whole lot of luck here with this Aghanim.
You can see him pulling the wall, not happy with these patterns.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Ooh,
getting a nice triple there, though. And Jet did get a very nice quick kill there. It's an excellent job here as Keku is finishing up round 2 on to round 3, or phase 3, I guess, of Ganon. So, Jet, 1 boss to go.
Yep, it's Phantoon. Does not have X-Ray, which could make that fight go by in 1 round very quickly. I mean, you can Doppler in 1 round, but that's not a lot of people can do that.
It looks like he's doing exactly what you were saying. It's just going his ascension up Red Tower, not super easy. I mean, he's got ice, but it looks like he's just going to take his... what he might do, actually, is just exit Super Metroid, re-enter Super Metroid, and reset. That's going to put him back at the ship.
I think I would do that too. You could also save, quit, reset, which I think that's what he's doing.
Yeah. Actually, that might actually be faster. Who knows?
It's probably pretty comparable. Zoasty on 1 heart here has to be a bit careful, but he's doing fine. But, you know, one mistake, this can just change the tide of this race completely.
Absolutely. Like, a death here would be pretty costly, because since Zoast is behind right now, he is definitely going to make up some time in Turian, but being behind currently is definitely going to hurt the overall team time.
Well, I mean, Keku's almost rushing over to Turian right now, so...
Yeah.
It's pretty likely that we're going to see Keku as our first player to finish, but
Zoast
still got to finish out the game. Oh my god, he walked into cannon!
Commentator Kurt!
He has the fairy!
Oh boy! Oh,
that is your best friend right there.
Does he not have silvers, though? He's not using silvers. Does he not? He already did a spin. Does he forget that he have them?
What? Oh, there he goes. Okay, he remembered.
Now he's, okay, yeah.
Maybe Keku told him or something.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Nice.
That was greedy, but that was nice. A nice kill there. It's a single G in the chat. We missed it for Keku. I think you guys got it though. Single G for Zoast here, and we see Cross heading in again. And now
Jet on this Fantoon fight. Got to make every single shot count. Don't really want to be grabbed by these Metroids, although I think Keku does have some leeway. We'll see. I mean, Zoast and Keku do not have high jump, but they do have space jump. See if they can pull off the Metroid skip coming up here. That can be pretty tough, but I know both of these guys can do it.
I'm not sure it's going to be happening with a high jump. Space jump's not quite enough to do it.
Fair enough. You know better than me.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to see it. It's just like a skip without high jump is just not happening in any kind of timely manner, or if at all.
Jet taking good advantage of his beam combo here. And Fantoon is down. So, I mean, honestly, I think, you know, with Cross kind of finishing up here, both Jet and Cross are going to have very similar times. Like, they've planned this out really well.
They have, yeah. I mean, Zoast and Keku, too.
They have. Like, they really have. They're both going to be in Turian here. Like, this is fantastic team play by both of these teams.
Yeah, both of these teams really demonstrating how to finish. Because the closer that you finish together as a team, the better you're gonna be off. So like I didn't word that properly, but I think you know what I'm getting at. Like you want to be as close to your teammate as possible when you finish, and both of these players are both of these teams rather are going to have very similar finish times, which is really, really excellent. Take notes, people. This is how you want to do it.
And this is Zoasty and Keku's race to lose at the moment, but it's not by much. They cannot really make a mistake. The unfortunate thing for Cross Product here is he did not grab the additional energy tanks, so he cannot perform the stand-up glitch. Zoasty cannot as well, so that could have been an advantage for their team to try to make up some time. Keku trying to get through this Zebetite, does a great job with it. We're seeing the Metroid skip from Zoasty. As you said, it's going to be pretty difficult. But we'll see.
I mean, if I were him, I would just be taking damage. Does he? Yeah, I would have just taken the damage, and so that the Metroid would grab you and then immediately let go, because he had to just wait through that whole cutscene of, you know, getting grabbed and letting it drain his health. If you know that the Metroid skip is not happening, which without high jump, it's just not happening. You just need to accept it. No matter how good you are, it's just, you're not saving any time, and it's just hard. So you want to just take the damage to end the cutscene as quickly as possible. But what you're seeing Zoast do here is he's actually not going to refill his health. He's going to use his reserves. And do a crystal flash to refill his health here. So you're going to see he's going to activate his reserves there by using that Rinka. As soon as Mother Brain 1 is dead and the acid has gone down. Oh, he's trying to do the down back method. This is a little... okay.
Don't die while you're doing this. But, I know he can Crystal Flash, but don't actually die.
This is why I never do this method.
Oh boy,
okay,
I would be Crystal Flashing right now.
Oh man, okay. He wants to freeze the Rinkas because otherwise they'll respawn and they will... You have 0 invulnerability frames during a Crystal Flash. So when those Rinkas are passing through you, they're doing 10 damage per frame. So that's scary. That'll just do a whole bunch of damage to you. So that definitely was a lot of time for Zoast that allowed Jet and Cross to really catch up. Jet is like 2 rooms away from cross product right now. And just only a couple more away from the rest of them, having a little bit of trouble getting these Metroids off of himself there. But these teams are all so close. Like you said, any one little mistake is gonna make it or break it. And
Jet does have the ability to do stand-up, which we do see Keku doing right now. You can see. Why don't you explain? You can probably explain stand-up a little better than I can.
Yeah, I mean, you have an understanding of it. I'm sure you could do a fine job. Essentially, you need to have at least 7 energy tanks. And what you do is you manipulate your energy in such a way, I won't bore you with numbers, but you manipulate your energy in such a way that Mother Brain does not initiate another Rainbow Beam attack. And you can damage yourself down below the threshold with which she would activate the final Rainbow Beam that would lock you down on the ground. So you're able to still run around the room. And so when you do that, you can actually stay in the air when she does the final scripted Rainbow Beam attack where the Metroid comes in and saves you, and you're actually in the air at that point. And so during that cutscene, you can do damage to Mother Brain in her 3rd phase, reducing the number of Hyper Beam shots that you actually need to hit her with. So that's why you saw Keku there had a very, very fast Mother Brain 3 phase, only just like a few Hyper Beam shots as opposed to, 20, 30 of... I don't actually remember how many it is. I think so it definitely saves quite a bit of time because you're able to actually do damage during that time when normally you're just sitting there waiting for the Metroid to suck Mother Brain's health away and return it to you like we see Zoast doing now, because he does not have the requisite 7 tanks.
And Keku is almost out of the escape here, but he does have to ask the question, the moral question. Do you save the animals?
Question. No, there's nothing. No.
Do you save the animals? He knows he's ahead.
Stop.
So he has the luxury.
No luxury.
To save the animals if he so chooses.
Nothing. No. Keku. Okay. He knows which side of his bread is buttered. Pass it right on by. Oh boy.
And look at this. 3 players on Mother Brain, but Zoasty entering phase 3 of Mother Brain. Very clearly ahead of the other 2 players here, but cross product, gotta go through that cutscene. Jet almost done with Mother Brain 2. Such a close game, but GG for kekumanshoyu.
Yeah, finishing with an official time of 2 hours, 37 minutes, 40 seconds. Again, though, the official time for your team is the 2nd place finish. All right, a Jet has initiated phase 3.
And he probably knows that Keku is done. They do get to see when their opponents are finished, so you can see, he needs to do this stand-up to try to gain some time, and he's going for it.
They know that it is very, very close. They don't know how close Zoast is. He could be a couple minutes behind. He could be right behind, but it's the stress now just goes way up. When you see that player finish on one team. Who knows? Maybe 3 minutes isn't enough for Zoast to escape. I'm not really sure.
That would definitely change the game quite a bit. From many different perspectives, I think. Yeah. Oh, man.
Do you know how many times he's done the escape?
Apparently not enough for you. All right, and will he save the animals? More than likely not.
There's no way. When you're the second finisher, you just don't do it.
You just don't do it. Yeah, your team's life is on the line here. And there he goes to the ship. Zoasty has finished with an official time of 2:39:37. Team Snappy's Hawaiian host moves on in the Super Metroid Link to the Past combined randomizer tournament. They will be facing off against Team Bootless, Suitless, Maniacal, and Solsky in, I suppose, the losers. What is it? The losers semifinals? I don't know how these all work with double elimination, but
wouldn't it be? It'd be. Yeah, I guess it's losers semis.
Maybe this is losers semi. I don't know.
Because losers finals would be with the loser of the winners semis, and then that winner goes back up to winners grand. So or something. I don't know. They are going up against Bootless Suitless. That's going to be a match for the ages. Don't make sure you're not gonna miss that one. Yeah. So super close here. Like just a room apart. Cross and Jet right now.
Yeah, really amazing that they both teams have finished so close to each other. But that again just shows their skill of understanding the routing and balance between both players. Because again, the team time for Team Snappy's Hawaiian host is Zoasty's time there.
Yeah, again, this is not an easy thing to finish so closely with your teammate. Definitely takes a lot of practice and a lot of coherency with you and your partner.
Absolutely. Man, what a race! Came down to those final couple items. It was that gravity suit or various suit to gravity suit combination for Team Snappy's Hawaiian host, which they managed to find in pretty reasonably quickly, and that Quake medallion just kind of escaping Cross Product and Jet. But GG to Cross Product, GG to Jet, GG to Team Stoops Product.
Yeah, let's see those G's in the chat with a Team Stoops Product time of 2 hours, 48 minutes, and 45 seconds. So just about, or I'm sorry, 25 seconds. So that's exactly a 7-minute difference there. Or no, I'm looking at the wrong thing. No, I'm not. Am I? What am I looking at?
I don't know. What are you looking at?
Oh, Oh yes, I am looking at the wrong. I'm looking at the wrong. It's just still about 7 minutes. About 7 minutes. It looks like of time.
7 minutes. It was
am
like yes. Zoast had a 2:39:37, so that was his official time, and Jet had a 2:41:52. So about 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
You know, it's
separating them.
You know what? You are correct, and I was testing you to make sure that you were able to read numbers properly, because apparently I cannot. So thank you, Alu, for having my back.
Did I pass the test? I'm really trying to
Absolutely
make it to mainstream here, guys. Please.
A+.
Oh, thank God. Okay, awesome.
But it looks like we've got all our racers ready to join in here, so we can get ask them a couple of questions, get their thoughts on the seed.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome in, you guys. GG.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I like that the swagginess that with Zoasty, huh?
There was a lot of swag, left and right. That is for sure.
And welcome in Jet082. Will Cross be coming in a second here as well? There he is. Yes,
there he is.
GG to you guys as well. Put up one One heck of a fight. Wow.
That was a very close race through and through. Really came down to a very tricky sequencing that Keku and zoasty managed to figure out finally. Cross and Jet had figured that out to a T, though. It was the Varia to gravity situation.
Oh, right. We actually had that somewhat early, didn't we?
You did. You had
Yeah,
that
I
very
basically
soon.
went down the lower Norfair as soon as I had morph bombs. I'm always looking for that one thing I need to get through worst room in the game. I'm hoping it's not ice beam.
I was telling Zoasty that, like, I think they're gonna do this, so, you know, we should, because once I saw that morph bomb, and I was like, okay, this is, when Zoasty was doing Gold Mountain without, barrier shoot, I was like, they have to find barrier shoot in order to get flippers and ice shot. So they...
Well, I mean, we lost by, like, what, 5 minutes, but I basically didn't progress through the game whatsoever in the first 30 minutes, I feel like.
You lost by 2 minutes and 15 seconds or something. It was really close.
It was super linear in the beginning, though. There's not someone was gonna be ahead, and like maybe we could sequence break something with the speed booster because that's what Cross picked up. Like maybe we'll luck into like Hammer, but it was not to be.
Yeah, if we found Hammer at Croc or in Bubble Mountain, then you know, there's a possibility that you do Aghanim to get Morph Ball to get Hammer or something, and then the Hammer lets you skip Aghanim if you do that, because I sequence broke this to get the speed booster. I'm sure Zos and Keku did too, but
I actually skipped over and Keku found it because there was nothing in Logic and early supers, I don't think so.
Yeah, were you guys just trying to stay in the Logic? Is that what your plan was, Zoasty and Keku, or
my plan was to
sort of? I mean, when I went to Bubble Mountain, I knew I was out of Logic then.
Well,
but,
sure.
Like, there's so much there, and like I was confident in my ability, so I was like, I think this is a good gamble for me to be making.
I'm pretty confident in Zoasty's ability.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I have abilities there, but I also died like right before Aghanim, so
that was definitely a costly death.
Oh my god!
Especially because like you were bottlenecked into having to do Aghanim.
Yeah.
And what we thought was interesting, and what really like at that point kind of just from our perspective kind of put you guys behind was that you didn't decide to go into pod immediately, which Cross and Jet did, getting them both the boots and Varia, which was really good. Like, it was because boots just speeds up A Link to the Past so much. You guys did a lot of stuff without the boots, which just is inherently slower. Plus, you were going through, doing Norfair stuff without Varia, which was fine, but I mean, that's just slower.
It was still pretty slow. Dude, it was still really slow with like no high jump, and no space jump. It was really hard for me to get to Norfair Reserve actually. Yeah,
it's definitely tricky.
Couldn't I have bomb jumped up there? I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Oops.
I'm an idiot.
No, I told you. I was like, they're gonna say something about it, and I'm gonna tell them. This is just.
Oh man, you got to go to the top right and deboost off the waiver. It's the only way to get in there.
Well, yeah, that's what I was trying to do.
We were Jet and I were hoping for a seed like this. It was heavy on Link to the Past early game and was a little short on heart containers or something. We know that Zoast and Keku are just amazing at Super Metroid, so we were hoping to get some advantage in the Link to the Past half of it. Unfortunately, my computer crashed and I got tilted, and I saved. Well, I went to sequence break to grab the speed booster, but I think this was while I was offline, and I'm glad because I went into the soft lock door because I wasn't paying attention and I thought I had gone down 2 levels to the middle door. Then as soon as I went in the top left door, I saw there was a door across the hole, and I was like, no, this is the wrong door. I got to go back to the ship now. Because, if you don't have Morph Ball, you get soft lock because there's a brown door and one of the enemies is on the other side of a narrow tunnel. I think that maybe Total should just make that a brown door so that you can't actually go into the Brinstar map area.
I just want to say one thing. Me and Keku were talking, and Keku was like, I didn't realize that Alucard and Wild were commentating. He's like, yeah, they're commentating. And I was like, oh no, they're going to be ripping apart my routing so bad. What is he doing?
Well, honestly, like, the pigeonhole through Aghanim ended up not being, like, there weren't options until you got to the Dark World, really. But you guys did do something really important, which was when you went to Catfish, you mirrored, and you checked the Zora ledge.
Oh,
I wasn't going to check for one thing. I'm like, you know what? I'll do it later after we get flips.
Keku almost didn't do that, too. He was asking me, he's like, should I do this? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't know, maybe, yeah, okay. So, like, we almost didn't do that, yeah. I
mean, I should have... Honestly, I'm kicking myself because I think I should have done it before I went to Meridia, because I actually checked the island, and I'm like, you know what? We didn't do any of the flipper stuff. And I'm like, Meridia has more items in it total, so let's just go there. Because honestly, if it was in like any of those flipper spots, I figured we're probably gonna lose. So let's hope it's like deep in Meridia, and that whole Varia gravity change just sort of maybe helped us.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was banking on.
But to an extent, but it also hurt you in that they were able to just go mode Meridia. They didn't step a foot in Meridia other than Dragon.
If I had checked it with Catfish, we would have known, and we would have been go mode ages ago. So yeah, I guess.
I mean, that's all hindsight. You never know where the items are.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
What was it now?
I did some pretty long checks. I full cleared swamp. I accidentally went to Skull Woods. I thought it was a crystal. Like, we only needed like gravity, I think. And we had like we had like Turtle Rock open and like all of Lower North Fair open. And here I am.
Yeah, we were
like,
wondering.
Here I am, like looking around Skull Woods, and then I killed Mothula, and down comes a pendant, and I was like, oh shit.
Oh wow.
I just thought that you guys must have thought you were behind or something.
I told him, I was like, oh, why? I just checked for the item, and he's like, yeah. After this, I'm like, okay. And then he's like, oh, wait a second. I'm like, oh, I told you, but okay, it's fine.
It's hard, man. It's hard to like concentrate on what you're doing and like
it's all good though.
And all that stuff.
But I do have to say though. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
I was just saying, maybe we should practice, like, do a couple practice runs before next time, or at least one or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because our next opponent is Bootless Suitless, and they're a pretty tough team too. So
yeah,
doesn't get any easier from here.
No, it doesn't. I mean, I think you and Wild were like the really harder competition.
After you beat them, you'll be facing Team Wildcard, right?
It's oh gosh, it's Team Fart and Team Wildcard. Damn, but
there's nothing easy anymore though.
Yeah, that's true for us.
I mean, this was a close shave too.
Yeah, right.
This could have easily gone a different way if they had just found that quake on the Zor ledge. That was man.
I'll be looking forward to watching this one back though, with that commentary and
me too.
How close the race was. I'll be wanting to watch this one back for sure.
What's the what were you gonna say, Wild? Race.
What's that?
I think Wild was gonna say something.
No, yeah, I was just saying it was a really, really entertaining race, and as Zos was saying, like this is not easy. You know, we definitely mentioned that too earlier on. This combo is hard. Like there's a lot there's a lot that you're having to keep track of. You know, remembering things for your partner, and it's like, and we mentioned this too. Like you guys both finished within minutes of your teammate, which is very difficult to do. On top of all of the other things that are hard about combo. So like it just like it was a really good showcase of like how to really do a co-op combo well. So it was a great, really great match all around.
And I do also have to say it showcased you guys' skill. Like we saw Jet jump into the Dark World and literally like full clear like the whole like overworld in the Dark World, while Cross was trying to do some cool sequence breaking and had a lot of knowledge about what could happen and what couldn't happen. And I thought that was really fascinating too. Like just the routing that Jet put into this.
Like, I think it was
helped their team too.
4 hearts for Aghanim Tower. I think I eventually got up to 6, and I was actually thinking about I think I had 5, and I was like, should I do Meyer? No, not with 5 hearts.
Oh
At
yeah.
that point, you did have silvers though, so I was like, he's probably gonna do it, right? He's got to do it.
I thought, honestly, if I had a couple more hearts, but I forgot to pick up silver. I meant to pick up silvers after I killed Aga, so I'm like, oh, I'm right there. I can mirror. This will be great. And then I completely keep walking because I forgot.
I kind of did the same thing. I was going to get it on the way to Aga, and then I forgot.
Yeah.
I didn't get it till way later. Like right after I got boots, which is really pretty late in the run for us.
I seen you going back to get silvers. I was like, wait, he didn't get those yet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's like, yeah, I'll just get them later. I'm like, okay, just remember they're here. I try to remember all the important items like silver, Quake. What was it? What was the other one I tried to remember too?
I don't remember. I mean, Ice Beam was one you found that I didn't get.
Yeah, I was like, okay, remember Ice Beam on Floating Island. I was just like, I think that's the good thing about the team. Like you said earlier, that you guys just can back each other up and try to correct each other mistakes, if any, or prevent them from making any mistakes. I had to remind Zoasty. Remember,
Wild's like, we don't make any mistakes.
Save and quit.
Absolutely.
We were practicing earlier today, and we made a lot of mistakes. But anyways,
I did tell.
Not during races, of course.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
I was like, remember, save and quit before you reset.
Yeah. Right.
Oh no. But you did mention Bootless Suitless is going to be your matchup coming up, I believe, next week. So how are you guys feeling about that?
Yeah, either next week or this upcoming week.
Is that Solsky and is that his team?
Maniacal.
Oh, Maniacal.
Yep.
Okay.
Maniacal and Solsky.
Oh, they're gonna want revenge too.
Yeah.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
I heard tale.
They already said they were like right from when that match ended. They said we're coming back for you, and we're like, oh no. They have so.
Yeah, I'm
we're lucky
scared.
we made it back to them too.
I'm not scared, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, we got a bunch of fighters up in here, so that's good.
Yeah, we'll put up
Be
a
on
fight.
the lookout for that
definitely.
match. It'll be a good one. You don't want to miss that. Unfortunately, Cross and Jet, this is it for you guys. But
really
hopefully
well,
you guys
though.
had a good time, and you guys did really well. Yeah, I mean, you had some tough opponents.
Yeah, I always
Team
like
Fart.
co-op. Co-op is really good
Team Wine.
format. I guess we can help you guys practice. Do some dirty practice.
To us?
Sometime.
Yeah, sure.
Well, we normally
Cross?
race against Wildcard, but yeah, I'm up for a rematch.
Okay.
Sounds
Yeah, we'll see if we can figure something out.
good.
You might want to talk with Keku about that. He's usually, I guess he's got the one with the weirdest schedule. Maybe, I don't know what y'all's schedule is, but he's usually at night for like US time periods. He's usually at night, like all in the middle of the night. So, but
Could definitely be fun to just try to get more 2v2s going, because these are really fun.
Well, cross products actually helped me a lot by having that tracker for Link to the Past. That's helped me a ton to learn that ALTP Rando, because I never really played it until it came out. So it was a lot to learn for me.
Yeah, if any of you guys are looking to get into Link to the Past Rando and it seems a little bit daunting, Cross has a really awesome tracker.
Agreed.
Yeah, but I think that's gonna be it for us. Is any closing remarks from you guys before we wrap this up here?
One for me, actually, for those that kind of missed the whole race, you can watch the highlight when it's on the Speed Gaming YouTube sometime in a day or two, and yeah, that's that. Oh, follow the commentators, Alucard and Wild, like really great guys, and great co-op team people, yeah.
Oh, shucks.
Hell yeah. Oh, and thank you to the trackers. Who is it? Linkforce and
And
Linkalot?
Sir Linkalot.
Yep, Sir
Yeah.
Linkalot and Linkforce handling all the tracking and stuff behind the scenes, telling us when we're wrong about go mode and such. We had a little. We thought that Jet and Cross were in go mode, but they didn't find Quake, so we had a little trouble with that. But they did an awesome job of helping us out, and we really appreciate them for it.
Yeah.
But that's going to be it. Thanks everyone for watching. Be on the lookout for some of the matches coming up in the coming weeks to close out this tournament, because we're kind of getting there. We're almost there. So
just a few matches left, only a handful.
Keep your eyes peeled. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will leave the last word to Wild.
See you next mission.